Lily, 7-Eleven, Sunday morning. Think about that, Sunday morning, um, in Australia, where Lily's at. But, I guess as long as I'm good, she can lead me into the into the cabal, I guess. Hey, look at that, Jenny from Galway. I haven't seen you in a while, Jenny. That's amazing. Okay, Miss Shorty. Um, I'm here. Well, what do we want to talk about until Lily gets back? I know she has her own little format she wants to get into. So maybe I'll start a few things. How about the tweet I put out today and on my Facebook page regarding the new commissioner of the Boston Police Department? Well, he's been on about a year. And this man in 1995 was almost beat to death by his own officers, right? Now, listen, it happens, right? He was in a foot pursuit of these guys that either robbed some kind of store. He gave chase, went up over a fence, and I guess he fell, got hurt, and the pursuing officers behind him went over the fence, did not recognize him as a police officer, and then commenced to beat the ever living shit out of him. And listen, this is a tragedy. Okay. All right. So here comes Lily. Let's
Hi.
hope all's fine, but I'll get back into that story. There she is.
Hello.
Oh, there, beautiful. Excellent.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm on my iPhone.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with my laptop, but it seems to be that. So it's really slow. Maybe it yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm here. Sorry everybody. Thanks so much.
Good. I was doing a little soft shoe for you, Lily.
Oh,
I know it's early there. I'm really happy that I'm on the show. I really appreciate you bringing me on. I love your work. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so kind. I love your work. I think that, as I was saying, when I was breaking up, I think, I feel like I know you, and it's been a pleasure, watching, being able, to have, people like yourself, like good quality people that have are so passionate. You're so passionate about the pursuit of justice for Karen, and it kind of sounds so corny, but that's exactly what it is. And I think the reason that so many of Free Karen Read movement people sort of love you, and they do, is because of your passion. As I said, when I was making that video, it was really hard for me I was cracking up. It was really hard for me to try and condense it into, I just to kind of make a video that was Sean and Free Karen Read, and it was as funny enough. It was actually harder.
Funny. I'm here looking at it. I'm cracking up. I'm saying to myself, Jesus, did I really say that those times? I mean, it is. Listen, you talk about freestyle. I speak from the heart. I don't have any notes. I know this case inside and out. I took it upon myself because, I have a ton of passion, but anything I do, I have passion. And, but this one hits home. It does hit home. Being 35 years as a law enforcement officer, going to high school in Canton. My parents lived there 53 years. That was my home away from home. I mean, wherever I lived, I came back home, took the kids home. We vacationed there. Anytime I had rest and recuperation leave from Peru or Colombia, went home to my parents. So it was home. And I guess to read about what happened, it stunned me. It did. It stunned me. And then I just said, that's it. I've got to make a statement. And here we are. We're here a year later now, over a year. And I'm on your show. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Yeah, so I was having a quick look back, when I was, writing the description, and I thought, hang on, that's right. I'll just need to tweak my memory about exactly, when you were approached about the case. And yeah, so you were playing a round of golf with an old mate in Florida, and he told you to check out Turtleboy.
He did.
Um,
During my backswing, which I was very upset at, but to know me, you would know what that meant. So
Pardon?
I said he did that during my backswing. I thought he was messing with me, and I wasn't that happy. But he finally convinced me, and I did that night. And I said, "Wow!" And as a matter of fact, it was a Saturday, so I did catch that Saturday night's version of Turtle Boy. I think it was the second one on the case, but I went back. Then I streamed the first one on the case right after the second one, and I said, "Wow, this is amazing." So yeah.
Wow. And so how long until you actually connected with Aidan, kind of behind the
Yeah,
scenes?
so it was so let's see now. That was April. So I slowly meandered around in the Facebook groups,
Mm,
up, weaving through. I was I it was great. You could click anonymous on this one page, and I was posting anonymously, and I was giving little tips about, how cops go bad, right? And I
yeah,
didn't want to give up who I was because Sean on the golf, and I mean, everyone knew me for years because I've had my Facebook page for a long time. So I was happy just going anonymously. And then one of the mods picked me out. She was a law enforcement officer. She picked me right out. So and it was not too long after that I decided that's it. I was actually back home. When I say home, back to Canton and Canton. I was
Canton.
back home in Canton, and I met with some friends, and I said goodbye because we had sold the home, and knew I was never coming back. And I decided to write that letter to Chief Rafferty on Facebook, sign my name, so everyone knew at that point who I was. I didn't do it anonymously, and I came right crashing through. It was 17 bullet point questions, which he never answered. And it was shortly after that, Aidan reached out to me and he brought me on a show. I believe it was at the end of June of last year.
Yeah.
So I went on a show then. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was interesting. I watched that, and I watched the beginning. Well, most of it the other night, and it was quite funny. It's quite funny, and I was going to play a clip, but I sort of can't now because I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
It was the introduction between you two, starting off kind of so formal. It just seems so far from, I guess, where it feels like we're at now. And Aidan said it was fun. It was hilarious because Aidan asked you where you were from and where you're living now, and you'd mentioned that you went to Canton High School and you're from Boston. But before that, he actually said, "Oh, you've never heard of me," and you said no, and he said, "Oh, so you're not from Massachusetts then?" It's just so funny that
Yeah, it was funny. Listen, it was one of these things where it was so stressful to get on because he says, "Sean, okay, I'm going to give you a link. Just click on the link and you'll be right in." Well, that's not true because I didn't realize you had to have uh, Google Chrome. 'Cause I have Safari, and I'm looking at the clock. He says, "I'll bring you right on." And now his show is already beginning. I'm sweating. And then when you go onto Google Chrome, I don't have any of my passwords. I couldn't remember my passwords, so I had to get a whole new set up a whole new password for wherever he sent me the link. I got on within seconds of him bringing me on. I was all stressed out, but I think it went over pretty good. I thought it was funny. And it's funny. I did go back and watch that a few weeks ago. And I
yeah,
said to myself, look how far we have come.
yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and you can see the progression as well. If it's quite interesting if anyone wants to go back and watch it, the progression just on that show from the
Yeah.
first, when, introductions and hellos and formalities to the kind of toward the interview, end of the interview, where you just become, I guess, the Sean that we kind of and love now, that real comfortable and getting kind of, really passionate and excited.
So the guy that you referenced, the guy when I had the golf match with Billy, he said, Sean, after the show, he talked to me. He said, well, I can tell you right now, Aidan will never have you back on his show. I said, why? He says, because you hijacked it. You took over the show.
Yeah.
And I said, did I really? He says, come on, Sean, what'd you think? All you did was talk. You talked over him. You did this, you did that. I said, oh, God. Anyways, I think it was good. I think what I liked about it is that I was able to bring a law enforcement perspective to I guess it was more or less on the crime scene, more or less, right? And then it branched out to, and I asked the question, what the hell are they giving grand jury subpoenas about? And I didn't know anything at that time. I'm saying there's something about that. Why would the FBI be handing out grand jury subpoenas? At this time now, we're in June, right? So that happened in April, and it was becoming known that all these witnesses, like Jen McCabe, right? And I think I said, I can't believe Attorney Reddington would actually expose his client. I think Reddington confirmed that his client, Jen McCabe, was issued a grand jury subpoena. And I think I remember, I said, why would he do that? Well, it was great because it gave me something to think about. And I did. And then it went from there, and with a lot of speculation. But as we now know, speculation turned into reality. And we now know that the FBI did, in fact, do a full-blown murder investigation. It wasn't investigating the investigators. They actually did a very detailed murder investigation into John O'Keefe's death, from interviewing suspects, from getting telephone toll records. As we know, they got everyone's tolls, they got everyone's texts, emails. You have it, more so than the state police ever did. We know they made several interviews, numerous, hundreds of interviews of people that you wouldn't think of. I had people say, oh, Sean, all the waitresses and waiters at both McCarty's and the Waterfall were interviewed. And I mean, listen, that's what the state police should have done.
Yeah.
They had access. They had the same tools. They had everything at their fingertips. Even the FBI. Had they reached out to the FBI, but we all know now why. We know why. So it's amazing when
the feds far enough away, right?
Yeah, when you look back and think about how much we now know back versus then, it was amazing. But unfortunately, Karen is back to where she was this time last year, right? She's still in the same spot, but she's in so much a better spot than she ever was. She passed the first test, and that first test has given the powers to be the time that they need to tie whatever the hell that's preventing them from coming forward and finishing this thing off. So it's going to be incredible when this all comes out. It really is.
Oh, it will be. And it will, it will. I've got, I've loved your faith, and I've kind of stood behind you and with you as you've almost kind of just guessed, or over the months. And so much of what you just guessed, or kind of proposed based on your experience, and kind of knowing, okay, well, 1 + 1 = 2. I thought, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, and I've never questioned it. But at the same time, it always sort of thought, well, it's also him just 1 + 1 = 2, but he's not in control of that sum. So
No.
But Karen is definitely she's in a better place than what she was a year ago. Right. 100%.
Absolutely. And I want to just touch base on what you just said. You're absolutely right. All right. A lot of this is a little bit more than a guess. All right. A little bit more than speculation. It has a lot to do with my own experiences. But I started
Yeah.
thinking recently, okay, the political nature of what the FBI did. Okay. I mean, they went way out of their way to investigate this case. Now, you have to ask yourself why. Okay.
Mm.
They don't have any jurisdiction over a state hit and run murder case. I mean, that's what it basically is. It's a simple hit and run. The Commonwealth streamlined this. Karen hit John, her boyfriend, who happened to be a Boston cop. Okay.
Mm.
That's the nexus to this whole thing. So I started thinking, listen, I lie in bed awake. My wife goes, Sean, turn the wheels off, turn it off. It's been over a year. I said, all right. And I started thinking, I said, okay, all right. And it always makes me go back to the basics. All right. I go back to what I know and believe at the crime scene. But then for them to have taken the political swipe they did at the DA, number one, but at the state police, law enforcement, no matter if it's state, local, or federal, have to work together. I know this for 35 years of my life, right? And there's all kinds of competition and jealousies and everything else. And the Bureau, unfortunately, are always the bad guys. They're always the bad guys because they're the ones that lock up cops when it's all said and done. They're the ones that messed up the state police during the Whitey Bulger investigation. One of their guys, maybe several of their guys were bad. So there's already bad blood. Okay. And so I'm thinking, why the hell would they get involved in something? And now we now know the extent they did to get up to get up to the point of a grand jury is huge. That means that they were ready, okay, already ready to say we have enough for a grand jury. That's generally at the end of an investigation. This was not a fact-finding mission. Sometimes they start a grand jury for a fact finding. We're gonna impanel a grand jury and they're gonna investigate. Well, no, this was not. We're gonna let the grand jury investigate. We're gonna present evidence to the grand jury. So what we don't know is what the grand jury ended up being asked to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's where the sealed, potentially sealed indictments.
Exactly right. But getting back to my point, it became clear to me that when they paid for the crash daddies, the ARCA PhDs, when they paid for that, that gave me the message that they completely backed Karen Reed. That's a very big political statement in the realm of politics. Okay. And for them to do that, not only to investigate and really basically take out Michael Proctor on his personal phone.
Yeah.
To put the state police troopers into the grand jury and hammer them in the grand jury. And let's face it, this was no fact-finding mission. And I'm going to rest my laurels on that. And I firmly believe, and I don't know. I'm just saying the little nuggets I do know from our friend Natalie, and coupled with my own experience and coupled with I know it's in the record, saw the trial, saw the people being asked about certain proceedings like Higgins, right? I posted that thing about Higgins,
Yeah.
Right?
Going to mention we started
Right?
talking.
And it's like, that was all code. When Alan Jackson said some other folks, that was the FBI, the formal interview. Well, guess what? The only person who had a formal interview was Brian Higgins. Formal interview was the proffer. Okay. And then, of course, the other proceeding was the federal grand jury. It doesn't take much to figure this out. And the majority of the information, the evidence that Team Reed did put on and then did discipline the Commonwealth's witnesses came directly from the FBI because they tried. They tried so hard to get telephone records. They tried this. The judge kept knocking them down all the time. So thank God there was the FBI. for anyone to say in the background, well, it's not going to happen. They're not going to, no, nothing's going to be done. Well, guess what? You got 3 of the investigators now on the bricks, right? You got Proctor with 1 foot out the door. Let's face it, he's not getting paid. The other 2 have to go through due process. God knows what's going to happen to them. You got Fanning. You got Lana did a great job, truth and transparency, on this kid Kevin Clapp, right?
Yeah.
That, like I said, it's now you got Fanning. You got a lot of hints going on, and it all revolves around Norfolk County DA and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office CPAC unit, which is the state police. You got 4 troopers now that are being eyed heavily by their own department, right? Fanning's going to be looked at after this Kevin Clapp thing. Fanning has to be looked at, and he's in the Birchport case, which is now being taken a second look at. So I feel confident. Who did I say this the other night? I'm in the deep end. I'm in the very largest deep end of any ocean, pool, whatever you want to think of, and I either sink or I swim, and that's where it's going to be. That's it. There's only 2 ways for me to come out of this. Either I sink to the bottom of the ocean and I'm done, right? And I get every suit imaginable against me, or I rise above it and I'll say, I told you so. And that's it. I'm not one of those type of guys, but I have to believe in that. I have to. I got everything's on the line. I'm not like Kevin. Oh, I can straddle the line and I can be right on both sides of the truth, whatever the hell he says, So, anyways.
No, that's right. And I don't think you'll sink. I think you'll keep on swimming.
Yeah.
And remember Kevin Alberts. I mean, I know it's an internal investigation from Canton PD. So whether that's just to kind of, I don't know, if it's just a show or if it's just because he's on paid.
Yeah.
But
listen, as a cop, even as an agent, I mean, if that came out against me at trial, right? I mean, and I didn't tell my supervisor. I mean, number one, having something like that come out and embarrassing your agency, like embarrassing the Canton police, that's an embarrassment. And like I said, I'm sure he didn't realize, but she had to do something. She had to do something. Now, at the end of the day, is it criminal? No. Is it poor judgment? Yeah. Is it conduct unbecoming? Probably. Mm-hmm. So he'll he's getting paid. He'll get a slap. He'll get some kind of sanction, right? I don't believe there's anything to lose his job over. However, whatever he did in line of either the Birchmore case or coming into the John O'Keefe case, that may be the nexus to his next problem. So,
agreed.
Right.
Agreed. So, what was I going to say? I was going to ask a question.
I know. See, I love being in this seat because I get that way a million times. My mind gets going. I love being here because I can just sit back and say, yep, ask me anything you want.
It's so funny because I thought, no, we'll be fine. I'll be fine. We'll be fine. There's always so much to talk about, but
and you are a lot. I mean, you're just a child, young lady. You should be having those memory blocks. I mean, I'm an old guy. They said I'm half senile anyways, that I got early onset of, where's Kimmy? She says I have early onset of dementia. That's Kimmy, whatever her name, Kim, all that stuff, whatever the hell she is. So no, but this, Lily, right? You have like content creators. You have an end game. You have a plan. You want to get to it. And then you get a guy like me who takes you off your train of thought, and then you forget what the hell you want to ask me. I have that tendency, and I do it all the time to myself because I forget where the hell I was going down. But we got plenty of time. We got plenty. It's early in your neck of the woods, right? What's it? 7:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. Do you believe it?
6:30.
Sunday morning. You're already ahead of us. It's just amazing.
Already ahead. That's right. So speaking of the time, so with the trial, I stayed up my
Oh,
sleeping schedule changed completely.
yeah.
I was, yeah, because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep and watch it the next day. Like
No,
even if I tried, like
right.
I just couldn't. There was, because it's that you can't, not.
No.
And so I was up all, many, many, many nights, most of the nights with you and Dylan on the morning show, and yeah. So yeah, that just reminded me of. I did want to mention how great was that, the morning show with Dylan
Oh,
and Verdict Watch with you and Dylan, and you making all of those calls.
oh, geez.
It was
It was
so
so organic. This relationship that formed between Dylan and I was just it was amazing. It was great. I can't
it,
wait to get back with him on Friday. Hopefully, because I have a trip kinda on hold right now, but I think I'm gonna be able to come back with him on Friday for this hearing, so,
good. Oh, that'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. I actually reached out and asked him if he wanted to come on as a surprise guest to surprise
Oh,
you,
nice. That'd be
but
nice.
wasn't available this weekend. So,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Yeah, he's been busy. He's been burning the candles at all ends, so,
yeah. No,
yeah,
he's gorgeous. I
yeah,
really like.
he really is. He's very genuine.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. He's honest to a fault, and I just loved his, energy with mine, and I'll tell you, when he starts cracking up, I can't stop cracking up. I mean, he makes me even laugh harder. One time we had to stop the show. It was so we couldn't even see each other because we had tears in our eyes. We were laughing so hard. It was great.
And I had moments like that with you guys on the morning show, and even like everyone else in the chat. I got to know so many other regulars that were there every
Right.
day that are still connected with, on X, and things. It's such an amazing community,
Well,
isn't it? It's like it's. I've
oh,
never had anything like it, and yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's just. I've been following true crime for a long time,
yeah.
obsessively, right? Like I would become obsessed, kind of like this, but never ever have I been, it hasn't felt like this, enough to make me finally, start making some content. I just started one day, kind of like you did in at the end of March, and just went, stuff it. What am I
True.
doing? I need
True.
to, I need to talk about it and talk to people, and I've wanted to do it for a long time. And yeah, so this case, I think because of the movement and the community, has made it so much, for sort of true crime, I guess people that did find it because of their true crime obsessions, it's kind of morphed into something heaps more than that. So
It's a community. It really is now. This is Karen Reed is it's a community all to its own, I believe. I know there's a lot of true crimers out there, but this whole thing is more of a community with the
it
Karen
really,
Reed.
it really is, and it's
Yeah.
to feel it, to be able to feel that on the other side of the world, kind of,
Wow.
and online. I mean, I used to every so I'd have like a routine, every day Tom would go to court, and so I'd switch over to Tom's CPU, and before you and Dylan started on his drive into the courthouse, so that was, and then I'd switch over to you guys, and I'd watch Tom with you guys, and then I'd flick over and see what Melanie Little was doing, because I love Melanie. I've been following Melanie for longer than I've been following Karen Reed.
Wow.
Um, and then I, obviously, if Turtleboy wasn't at court and he was live streaming, I'd go over to him because I just love him.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I'd pop in and see the Glare every now and then. And
Sure.
all that. So it is a real community where it's kind of like, I've
Right.
got to see what all of my friends are doing. And yeah, I've never been a part of anything like it, if you like. So it's really cool, and that's kind of everybody, that all of the leaders like yourself, that have, and like Paul Cristoforo, and
Oh, yeah.
Dana and Tracy, and um, kind of
Mike
the
Mike Crawford.
and they organize, and Erica, the behind the scenes, Tom CP, all of that stuff. every single day during the trial, I remember, watching them and what they did out the front of the courthouse and making sure that they were leaving no rubbish lying around and they were respectful, and just all of the um, everything that went into what we don't see from here kind of thing. But so much work and time and effort and resources goes into it. It's so incredible.
It is. And I must say, I see Dennis Sweeney in here. I mean, he was a force to be reckoned with on the ground crew with Tom CPU, his wife Brenda, Paul
Yeah.
Cristoforo, all those great people to be there every day, starting last summer, right? With the hearings, going into the fall, going into the winter, snow, the freezing weather. Then you go to springtime with the trial. And they were there all to give Karen support, to give us, sitting that couldn't be there, such warm feelings to know that there was an entity on the streets of Dedham, right? Which, if you look at all the newscasters, right, they said that it's never been done. Vinny Politan, he says, I've never seen the lengths of people rooting for a person who, I hate to even say this because I don't believe it, but to rooting for a cop killer.
Yeah.
Listen, myself would never do that, but the evidence is overwhelming, and I don't know why these other people can't see it. I just don't know, but we're here.
That's right. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? The people that can't see it. I think half of them are just obviously, they're mofos, right? And
Yes, they are.
the other half, for some reason, don't want to admit it. So, and they don't really matter.
No.
We know, and Karen knows, and
Right.
I think 98% of the world knows.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm really starting to question if we'll see another trial. And I know everybody has kind of accepted that we will, and I've quietly accepted it. That's
Sure.
fine. But I really don't know if we will. And I think there's so much happening, like you were just talking about, with the MSP, but also what just dropped yesterday or, the day before with the Commonwealth admitting that the jurors had been in contact with them.
Hey, they had to, all right? They had to, because the reporter from WBZ was all over it. And, but here's the thing, and because a few things were going on, I actually had to take a road trip up to Venice yesterday to see a good buddy of mine, which I want to get into at some point. But now there's a fear that the Commonwealth may have to dox them or give their names and addresses, kind of like a ploy to back them off. And I didn't understand that. Did you hear anything about that at all? I just caught wind of it.
Yeah, so well, the Commonwealth filed basically a response to the jurors reaching out to the defence, and said, yeah, actually we have, because Christina Rex had kind of said, what, I've got jurors coming to me saying that they've reached out to the Commonwealth with no response. So yeah, they filed the whatever it's called, the other
The
day, saying,
motion, yeah, the motion, right,
we had 2 voicemails and 3 emails or something or other.
right.
And we didn't reply to the phone calls because that's improper. And we did reply to the emails just saying that we can't speak to you, and and then alluded to the fact that well, they can't speak to them about their deliberations and their why they made their decision, basically saying, and that their identities may be at risk if they were to do so, which is just garbage. So
Yeah.
everyone's ultimately saying, so okay, you're telling the jurors that, like, you're intimidating them into going away.
Silence, right, exactly.
Don't
Yeah,
say that. Like,
yeah,
and the date on it was quite interesting too, because the date on the yeah, I think they lied. They lied, and then Christina Rex kind of caught them out, and they've whipped up this file and released it. So I think they initially lied about hearing from any jurors, because remember they said, "Oh, we haven't heard anything from anybody."
right.
Yeah.
So, there's and I use this now. I didn't want to use it in the earlier days, but I was saying, I guess I was saying hide the sausage, but there's a famous quote that Karen used in the Natalie files. Okay.
Mm.
Her quote was, Adam Lally has been hiding the ball so much. And I remember saying that. I remember saying it. I remember reading it. And it's true. He has
Yeah.
hid the ball. He tried to hide the ball on all the exculpatory evidence that was not handed over, right, to Karen. The FBI did. We know how they did it because there's 3,074 pages worth of exculpatory evidence. All right.
Yeah.
And we know now, just in this episode of Lally Gate, that he tried to hide the ball on the jurors. Okay.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, what the hell is wrong with him? I mean, he's not a dummy, and he's walking himself into, he won't have qualified immunity. He won't, because he wasn't flim-flammed. I mean, maybe he was at the beginning, but he now knows something's not right. And I hate to say this, the old adage, something's not right in Denmark. I hate to say this about our Danish friends out there, but something's not right in Norfolk County. Let's put it like that. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Lally, Lally fascinated me, particularly, I laughed at him first, when I first started following on, with Turtleboy,
right.
which was mid-December. I found Aidan and the Karen Reid case, and I just watched it back to back. I binged it on his YouTube channel.
Sure. You mean December 2023?
Yeah, and actually,
Wow.
because
Wow.
I don't jumping ahead, and I thought I really needed to dive in to another case because I was
Sure.
really following. Have you heard of the Dan Markel case? It's in Florida. Dan Markel, he was murdered in Tallahassee 10 years ago.
Yeah,
The
I think,
Adelson, Wendy Adelson. Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure. 10 years ago, I was too focused on hitting a little white ball for days on end. So who
That's
knows? I probably did.
They have just because of the geographical location,
Sure. Right.
kind of. But anyway, so I'd kind of been obsessing over that and dived into it, and just for like months, and I needed a break from it after the trial last year, and I
Sure.
thought I need something else, but I need something else to kind of dive into. I found Turtleboy, and I can't even remember how. And it wasn't until I was kind of 3/4 of the way through, hours and hours, days and weeks almost into his playlist, that it started to click that he was in jail. So I found him when he was in jail.
Oh, wow.
And I
So
watched it.
you led up to all, you mean, oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't want to Google anything and look ahead. So I was watching
Wow.
all of last year's hearings and watching all of like his live shows with him,
Right.
in order. And it took me about 2 weeks, I think. And then it kind of hit me when he started talking about, he's being charged and everything. And I remember thinking, at the time, I thought, holy shit, he's actually in jail.
Yeah.
They've put this guy in jail. I remember then, that's when I then found the community, right?
Right.
I thought, what's going on? I
so
found
you-
and Brian LTL, because they were kind of, they were helping him.
helping.
Yeah.
So you did like most of us do. You did a binge, like it was a Netflix binge, right? You started and kept watching and watching. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was fascinated, I was in a bit of a crappy place personally, and I hadn't laughed so much in my life. He just made me laugh. I had
Yeah.
tears.
Right.
I remember him like having a crack at Lally's shoes, and it was just, I still remember it so clear as
Yeah.
day. I just had tears rolling down my face. I thought, this guy, he's just so, there's never going to be anyone else in the world like him, but so genuine and normal. It's kind of same with everyone. It's kind of like you're hanging out with a mate, but he's so gay and genuine and very inspiring. And I remember watching him go from the courthouse to the like while I was in jail into the jail truck, whatever they call it. And I was watching, I think I was watching with Tom live, and I had tears. I'm like, holy
Right.
shit, that's the first time I've ever
Well,
seen, you know what I mean? Like kind of in real life. This is
he's
real.
got such quick humor. I'll tell you one time, and like I said, half my last part of my life was overseas, so I was in between English and Spanish. But he said something on his live that I'll never forget. And I never heard it, but a lot of people did. And he was talking about somebody's. I don't know. Maybe it was Morrissey or maybe it was someone else. But he said, "Yeah, this guy has more chins than a Chinese phone book." And
Oh, so quick.
it took me like a second to understand. And when I couldn't stop laughing. And, people said, "Sean, that's an old one." I said, "Okay," but it was great for me. More chins than a Chinese telephone book. It was like, and I had a good friend, Jose Chin. He was a big Chinaman that we were on the Amazon River together. I just remembered him. It was amazing. Oh
Yeah.
God, it was funny.
I was actually, and again, it was, who was he with the other day? He was a guest with, I think, Mike, and Betero and
Yeah.
Mazza.
Right.
And I actually went back and screen recorded some of it because I was looking at Bettero's reactions.
Yeah.
He just, because I thought I've done that before, where he says something. He was talking about John Connolly, I think, from the select board.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Oh my God. And I know poor John. Yeah. I mean, I do know John, and anyways, but yeah, it is great. But speaking of, I will have to say, I want to say this. Speaking of Mark Betterow and Mike Crawford and Mark Mazza, what a breath of fresh air those guys have been. And then with Mark, I mean, I'll tell you, I could listen to Mark forever. He has such a smooth, nice dialogue. And I got to tell you, we talk about guys who are real deal guys, real dealers. I mean, he's a real deal type of guy. This guy was a prosecutor in Manhattan. Now, let's face it. Guys, I mean, guys like New York guys are famous for this, right? And I would get this, coming in from either Springfield or anywhere I was, hey, McDonough, if you haven't done a drug deal in New York, you haven't done a drug deal, motherfucker, right? Yeah. I mean, you got this attitude. And I got to say, Mark, prosecuted badass cases, right? And he knows what corruption's about. He knows what good cops and bad cops are about. He's seen it all. And now he's a defense attorney. And so a guy like him and Melanie Little, like you said, we have such a great cadre of people who are supporting this case. We all can't be wrong. That's the bottom line. We all can't be wrong here, right? And exactly. What this is my point. And I think it was either Mark or maybe Michael, who I call Michael like he's my son.
I know, it's so
feels
cute.
So bad for the O'Keefes because who do they have? Who do they have? They got Kevin, they got the wine girl, and they got Kate. That's it. And look, I mean, not to bang up on them, but they don't have the quality that this Karen has.
No.
And it's a shame because I don't get what Paul O'Keefe, his game is. I don't get it. I do not get it. I wrote him. I'll tell you. I said it the other night when I found out that Turtleboy and him reconnected. I said to myself, "Well, Jesus, I can do it. I can hit him on that." So I found his name, and it's the same thing that Turtle. That I gave him a little note. I said, "Hey, Mark. I said, hey, Paul. I'm not against you. Blah blah. I don't want anything from you. Don't talk to me. Don't. I don't want a response. I just say, take a step back and look at things from a different perspective.
Right.
I see you. I said, I saw you every day in that courthouse. You got to be questioning the caliber of witnesses that came up to present that case on behalf of your brother. Look at Paul, Trooper Paul. Look at him. Was that the best the Commonwealth could do for you and your family? I mean, seriously. And so I said, just think about it. Go down and talk to Mr. Levy, blah, blah, blah. So No response. So I go back. He blocked me. I said to myself, the hell? You're talking to a guy that was basically lambasted you, but you don't want to talk to me? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's sad. It's sad because when you think about it, they don't have anyone in their corner. Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah, it's but they just don't see it that way. I mean, apparently, I mean, from all, it's so bizarre. I hear you, and I watched Paul in court because obviously, aside from looking at his crotch, we saw him a lot.
Jesus.
Um, but yeah, and I thought there were times, when damning testimony or evidence was produced, and I'd watch him, I'd watch him and think, God, what's going on behind those eyes? I'd even
Right.
zoom, try and look at try and read him, and I thought, oh, it's got to be, there's got to be, it's got to be in your head. You must be thinking, fuck, what have I
Yeah.
done? What's going on? What have they
Right.
done?
Right.
What have they done to my brother?
Right.
And then to kind of what he did on the last day, like after the hung
Jury.
verdict, he said something to Karen on the way
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and then he did. I thought, holy crap! I was really shocked at that interview. I thought you're either delusional or the DA have got a gun to your head, and that's almost. It's like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Ali was speaking.
Right. And I've always had the opinion from right off the bat that the police in this case took advantage of their grief early on in, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I do believe there was some hanky panky with that traverse. I could tell you right now. I do believe it with all my heart. I just I just hope that, you know, it's not a good look if that's the case. All right. I can't put my hand in the fire, but I've had 4 different people contact me that they all different walks of life. They have one person in common and they have friendships with John Sr. And they said that John Sr. himself admitted early on in that Carl Dougal took that vehicle and got it fixed. Now, am I being hoodwinked? I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, there's no doubt that that car had damage. No doubt. It just, there is, I mean, I've done too many investigations to know the difference. Right. It could be the littlest spot of damage, but why would the cops take 6 days to come back after 6? Why did they even check it after 6 days? This is the murder of a Boston police officer. And they
Yeah.
waited 6 days on something that crucial. So, like I said, the story will come out. I feel bad for that whole side because they're going to get victimized all over again. They really are. And I just hate the thought of that. And I really feel bad for the kids. Those kids are going to have to go through, and you can't hide from it. You can probably distract them, but at some point down the road, 5, 10, 15 years from now, when the truth does come out, they're going to realize what happened. They're going to realize that this was all just a huge
Or they
setup.
won't. Or they won't
Oh,
because
they won't. Yeah, it's
you
true.
know, they may or they may not. I think
Right.
that there's a lot to be said about what their state of mind is too, and
Right.
how they've been influenced by the people around them.
Right.
Uh, Particularly the only people really. I mean, those kids have been through hell and back,
Yeah.
right? So their
Right.
vulnerability, their
Right.
level of but at the same, they might just think, you know what? I just want to fucking get out of here. I never want to
Sure.
see Canton again. I want to go off
Right.
and college, and I don't want to look back.
Right.
I'm going to
And
leave all these mofos here and all these bad memories, and I'm going to go start a good life. And I
sure.
don't want to hear about it. I don't want to,
Sure.
or they might become, you know, their uncle's biggest kind of and loudest advocate. So yes, they
Advocate.
go either way, right? It really,
Right.
really don't know. Mm.
Yeah, but then the Commonwealth to put them on the stand. What value? What true value was that all about? That they couldn't provide any factual witness to the hit and run. I just think it's absurd that they did that. So, but I will just two other comments I want to make. Can't forget the contributions of Olivia Nile, Olivia Lambo, and Nurse Kim. Nurse Kim is out there battling big time, huge. And I'll have to say one more thing, right? You, Miss Lily, with that video rendition at the waterfall, when you did that whole thing, all right, with Chris Albert and Brian Higgins,
Yeah.
that I got to tell you, that catapulted you right in. And as a matter of fact, right, let's face it, Alan Jackson, right? He didn't do that, right? He didn't draw anyone's attention to, but guess what? He was able to tell the jury on his closing arguments to go to
Yeah.
a certain time frame, and guess what? That was your time frame. He
Yes, I
said,
know.
pay particular, now, so there it is. Look at you coming right in. You didn't get involved till December 23, and then all of a sudden, your video is highlighted at the greatest closing that ever was. It was beautiful. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks. It was interesting because it went nuts, and people were kind of, well, it went nuts.
Yeah.
And I sitting on it for weeks. I kind of saw John do the boxing. What do you call it? The Ali move.
I would say in the Muhammad Ali shuffle, you got our friend JFK says the heel toe, whatever you want to call it. But he was doing the little rope-a-dope dance, right?
Yeah, and so I saw that first, and I saw it weeks ago. And as soon as I saw that, like I then kind of, and I studied it for hours, and then
Oh
I'm
God.
together and working out who's going and seeing who and what's happening. You know, I I got this software so I could clear it up, and then I sat
Wow.
on it. It was too much for my brain. I thought, I don't even know how to start to put this into a video. It's amazing how much creating content goes into something that wasn't even really my content. It was it was a CCTV footage, but to try
Yeah.
and portray
Wow.
it to a listener or a watcher. And one night I was actually talking to a guy from Twitter, actually, and I sent it to him. Uh, I told him what I thought, and he agreed. And then I just went bang, and 4 hours later, it was posted. And I thought, yeah, I've been sitting on this for weeks. And I sent him the close up of John doing the Muhammad Ali shuffle, and he said, yeah, definitely, like he's gearing up to
I'm
fight.
telling you, it was a I'll tell you, it totally changed my mind about motive. Okay. You
Yeah,
know, it really did because I was of the early impression, up until I saw that video, seriously, that, John just wanted some, a nightcap, last call, shoot the shit with the guys, He didn't know those guys that well. And that was my whole thing. And I thought that maybe Karen said, Jesus Christ, I have to get back to Mansfield. You want to go and have a drink? We've been drinking all night, blah, blah, blah. But when I saw that video, and I think it was, I think I broke it down with Dylan. Didn't I do it on Dylan's shows? And I was calling you the kangaroo lady.
no,
I was saying,
both as well, and LTL. You did
oh
with
yeah, I think,
Brian.
yeah, I was, and I couldn't remember your name. I was saying, there's some true crime. I don't know if it's because there's a couple of true crime. I said she's a kangaroo lady, and you were there. I said, there she is. That's her right there. And I said, it was incredible, Lily, absolutely incredible. And I'm just this is what I'm saying. We have so many people that are contributing so much stuff. It's
Right.
amazing. And that
Yeah.
was gold, Lily. Truly awesome gold. It really was.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. And
Yes.
that's kind of, I guess, and you mentioned Olivia, and I have to love Olivia, obviously. And so
Oh,
Olivia, I hadn't used Twitter or X for a couple of years. Since the Johnny Depp trial, I was on X, and that was kind of it. And I came, well, I need more. I need more. Like, where can I get more of? I need a community, right? So I went looking once I'd kind of realized and found Glera and LTL. I went onto Twitter, and yeah. So then I obviously found Sleuthy's spreadsheet, which I have just
oh
dissected.
yes, yes. That's another one. Sleuthy.
Oh, what
Lucy
an
Sleuthy. Lucy Good. These names are killing me. And Lana too. All these people. It's amazing.
It's amazing. But that spreadsheet that Sleuthy did,
Yeah.
is like I mean, I have dissected that.
Yeah.
I've made charts and like graphs of, I've made a graph of Jen McCabe's heartbeat and the times.
Oh.
just to kind of have a visual, um,
Amazing.
and just yeah, it's to have all of that at the ready has been so fun for me as well
Right.
to,
No,
um, go.
and to think to and this is the thing, right? To think that the state police had all these tools at their fingertips and chose. I mean, listen, we all know now why, but look at how bad they failed. They really failed so miserably, horribly, awful. Really was. They failed, and
Yeah,
they're gonna pay for this. They really are. So
they will. That's right.
yeah,
Um, so tell me um, what's next for you? So have you been to Canton since all of this?
I have not been. My okay, so June of 2023
Mm,
uh, was when my brother and I, who's now dead, went back to sell our home, the family home, right? I stayed right down the street from the hillside. And I spent every night at the hillside, actually, afternoons and suppers at the hillside. What a great place, right? I'm glad I wasn't drinking at the time because holy shit. I mean, I would have been there all the time. I probably would have met all the same people. So, but anyways, I said the dogs will start barking here pretty soon, but no. So it was basically June of 2023, and here we go. So, anyways, what's next for me? Next for me is doing what I'm doing right now, putting people, making people accountable, and figuring out why they weren't accountable.
yeah.
I'm sorry, these dogs are
That's
the
fine
thunder. Yeah,
to you.
Paris, stop it.
That it's fine. Like,
And
um,
here's the thing: to think that Chloe would not be barking, right?
exactly. Yeah.
This is the thing. These are little guys, right? Chloe was a German Shepherd. They bark at everything, right? So, anyways,
Well, dogs in general, they bark at anything. I
yeah.
mean, um, uh, all you need is kind of,
Get
you know, the delivery guy walks. Steps. I've got a little chihuahua, and he goes nuts. And it's
right,
like you're not going to not have Chloe. I mean, Brian Albert. Oh, I don't know. She might have been in the closet. When Jen McCabe came
burst.
storming,
His words burst in, right?
burst.
Burst in. That's a dog's joy to have someone burst in. You
Yeah,
know,
when it's
they would
done.
go crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, and as if Chloe wouldn't have heard what all the regardless of sirens, right? Because
right.
there were
The radios
right? But we're talking people, Karen's absolutely,
screaming.
screaming. She's beside
Right.
her. And you've got Kerry and Jen telling her to shut up, and then
Yeah.
all the EMTs. And Chloe's just sleeping peacefully in the closet. Like, come
There's no
on,
way. There's no way.
no
And
way.
no, that I don't believe that dog was there. I believe the questioning of both the daughter and Tristan about did you take Chloe back to you to Easton? I believe they were right on the money on that. So you know, listen. The thing is, we have to endure months now. Maybe hopefully not too much longer until the FBI decides to say, okay, that's it. We've got what we have. We got what we have now. Let's just put things in motion. But it's all on them. People keep saying, why would they have the taxpayers? The taxpayers of Massachusetts go through another trial. Well, guess what? That's on Mike Morrissey. That's not on the FBI or the Department of Justice, right? We have two things going on. We have the Commonwealth v. Karen Reed, and you have whatever the hell public corruption, civil rights violations that the FBI and DOJ are doing. So, anyways, what?
There's, as you said, there's so much still to come. And I think I think
Yeah,
it's exciting. I'm
right,
excited. I like
right,
there's yeah, as you said, Karen's still in that, space where it's a holding pattern for her, and I really feel for her.
yeah,
But at the same time, thank Christ she wasn't convicted, which we knew that would never happen anyway.
right,
And we're not going anywhere. You're
right.
going anywhere. So we ain't got no quit, right?
So, yeah. So you brought up a good question here about I mean, for me, what's the way forward for me? The way forward for
Yeah.
me now is holding people accountable, right? Kind of went at the former superintendent, Greg Long, okay, because bottom line is he was the man of the hour, right? When John O'Keefe was found murdered on the lawn of another police officer, both under his command, okay? Now, with that said, no one took responsibility for either person from the Boston Police Department. They just basically, well, I'll take that back. He did gave a press conference or a statement to the press saying that Karen was guilty and that she killed John. Okay, that was days after John was found dead. Okay, that was probably one of his biggest mistakes he made. He came out too early. And what happened to our system of justice? Like Dylan says, we're innocent until proven guilty. All right. He, above anyone, knows the propensity of violence that Brian Albert has, and that has absolutely wreaked havoc on his own men. Okay, his own people. Brian Albert has doled out severe beatings to these people. All right, and he's been allowed to do this unfeathered, untouched, like he has a license. Okay. So then this is where I'm getting to my story about my drive to Venice yesterday. I
Yeah.
went to college with a gentleman, Bobby McDonough, right? Bob McAdoo. He shares my name, right? We haven't spoken in I haven't seen or heard from him since 1978.
Wow.
So do
What?
the math. And it's because of this case, and we had a friend in common. Um, she's a trooper, and she reached out to me, and lo and behold, his name came up. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" Another guy's name came up, but unfortunately, he died. So, anyways, finally found out that Bobby's down here, like maybe 2 hours away from me. So we decided to meet at a mutual place, right? So I met with his wife and himself. We had a beautiful lunch yesterday. And he decides to say to me, "Hey, Sean, why do you think the cops are not coming out more forceful about the beatings and the corruption?" I go, listen, I mean, this is an easy one, but surely they've chosen Brian Albert over John O'Keefe for whatever reason." He said, "Do you know I was a juror in federal court about the Superintendent Cox trial back in 1999?" I go, "Who's Superintendent Cox?" He says, "He's the current superintendent. But back then, he was a patrolman. He was a undercover
Right.
plainclothes guy that got involved in a foot chase, right? With these, I don't know if they were juvenile. They did something. They robbed a restaurant or some kind of place, and this Officer Cox, or maybe he was a detective at the time, I'm not sure, gives chase to these four guys, chase them down the street, come up to a fence or a wall. He climbs the wall. The guys get away. And next thing, the pursuing officers, right, come over, get over the wall, right, and see poor Mr. Cox on the ground. He must have done something to be on the ground. They then literally kick the ever living Christ out of him, kick his head, stomp on him, beat him up, right? And then one of them sees the shield, right? And I said, "Well, what would happen?" He says, "They all lied. They fabricated reports. They said he slipped on ice, did something." I said, "You got to be kidding me." He says, "Sean, I'm telling you, I was a juror. I was really." He said, "I told them that I went to Westfield State and I was originally in a criminal justice program, but they let me stay on." He said it was the craziest thing I've ever was exposed to. And all the cops lied. The hierarchy of the Boston police lied. So I started thinking, I said, okay, this guy is now the head of the Boston Police Department. This
Wow.
guy, this guy, all right, and I went one step further. So here's my scenario. God forbid, right? I don't know if it's Billy Cox or Tom. I don't know what his name is, his first name. All right, but God forbid if one of those guys kicked him in the temple and killed him. For those kids that got away or eventually got caught would have been charged with his murder. They would have lied. They would have framed the innocent kids. Well, okay, so they were running away. They did some. Okay, fine. No doubt those kids would have been charged in his murder. If they lied about their own actions of what they did to him and he survived this, right? And he won the case in court. Think about the fact if they killed him. Now, this goes directly to the John O'Keefe scenario.
Yeah.
John O'Keefe was killed by Brian Albert and company. I'll just leave it right there. Right? He was not killed by Karen Reed. The Department of Justice spent a lot of money and sent 2 of their guys to testify that that car did not hit John. So if the car didn't hit John, he got killed in that house. Brian Albert was there. John's face had Brian Albert's calling card. Okay, Brian Albert kicked the teeth out of one of his sergeants. Right after a Marine Corps. Well, anyways, getting back, it was after a Marine Corps party or something like that in November of several years ago. Beatdowns like you wouldn't believe. Notorious, known to a lot of cops. If I know down here, I was never a Boston cop, and I'm sitting down here in Naples, minding my own business for 15 years, right? 11, right? Yeah, 15 years. And I'm hearing about Brian Albert I've never met in my life. And I'm hearing about how dangerous and violent he is. What the hell do you think those cops up there know? But getting back to Cox, if he died, you know for sure, like in the trial 4 case, they would have framed those poor innocent kids. Now, listen, I say poor innocent kids. They probably needed a good slap down, whatever the hell happened. But guess what? You can bet your bottom dollar those cops, if they lied about what they did to Cox on the ground, they would have lied. They would have framed those kids that ran away at what they did. And the question begs, how many other people are like that got framed? And Cox is saying silent about John O'Keefe. It's mind-blowing to me, mind-blowing that a guy who had he wears a scar, goes from one end of his head to the other end. He's the head of the Boston police. He knows John O'Keefe, and he's not saying a word about his death. It's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing.
Yeah. I mean, and to think, as you said, those 4 kids, as you said, it'd be another trial 4, you know.
And guess what? Guess
who
what?
else?
It would be 4 distinguished Boston cops against them.
That's
The
right.
jury would believe the cops.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I was a cop. I was in law enforcement for 35 years. I don't like talking about stuff like this, but one, you just have to listen. You can't keep it in a bubble. You can't. And the fact that he's not coming out, this was done to him. He was John O'Keefe. He was just luckier than John O'Keefe. Eddie Hernandez was luckier than John O'Keefe. The Boston Fire Department guy, the fireman that got a bottle busted over his head, was luckier than John O'Keefe. The sergeant that got his teeth kicked out was luckier than John O'Keefe, right? Brian Albert killed John O'Keefe, and he framed Karen Reed. Those 4 cops would have framed those kids that were running if Officer Cox ended up dead. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to make people accountable now.
Good.
That's my thing.
It's so, I love it when I just get so.
I started feeling myself ramp up because I told my wife I'm going to be nice and quiet now.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. That's what we all love about you, because the more you get going, the more it seems, I think we're yes. Now what's next, Sean? Now what else are you going to say? What else?
Yeah, and like I said, anyone can say what I'm saying. If any, like for me, I just found out about this story literally yesterday from my buddy I haven't seen how many years? 40, 78, whatever, 40 some odd years. He looks, as a matter of fact, this kid looks exactly the same. All right. And sounds exactly the same as the last time I ever saw him in 1978. It was probably at a disco dance that I was spinning the records at back then. Yeah, that
That's
was amazing.
amazing. So do you want me, why don't we see if anybody's got any questions in the chat?
Sure.
We've
Yeah, this was great.
got just had 1,000 people in the chat, and I'll just
Holy,
show these
wow.
super chats. Thanks so much for everybody for the membership. So how exciting. I just got, I was able to do this week. How cool.
This is awesome.
I know, I'm excited.
I
Fun.
know.
Thanks,
And
Michelle.
when I said to you, I said, "Hey, listen, I'd love to come on your show." I mean, really. And I knew we were back and forth. Listen, I'm telling you, Lily, there's so many people that reach out to me. I'm thinking about people now that I have to get back to. I can't find them. I know there's somewhere. I can't find them. I need an assistant that takes down all these messages. I've got to find these people. Oh my God.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah. But it's not because I don't love them or don't want to. I want to talk to everyone. It's just that it's huge. It's, how do you manage 33,000 people? I don't know. It's something that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, maybe you will need to have a look at getting an assistant sometime.
I know Miss Shorty's out there, and I know I owe you a call because my someone recommended you very highly to me. I can't get to you. It's crazy, but I will, Miss Shorty. Miss Shorty, love it.
Miss Shorty, yeah. So she's an Aussie.
Oh, is she?
As well. Yeah, Miss Shorty's in Melbourne.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. So she actually went live yesterday with Nurse Kim.
Oh, she did. Oh, that's awesome.
Did. Yeah. So
Nurse Kim.
yeah,
Nurse Kim is on a whole. I mean, I'll tell you, I love Nurse Kim. She is awesome. And she doesn't pull any punches at all. I love it. Lovey. I love Lovey.
Yeah. Oh, and go on Corgi. Oh, she's so good. She's hilarious. Yeah. Those two were awesome together. And yeah, Miss Shorty's lovely. So
yes, I will.
Yeah. She's great. She's been on with Mike too on the Young Jerks.
Yeah, I have seen her out there, so I got to get a hold of her.
Yeah. She was in the chat before. And
I think she still is. I think she is.
She's been giving out memberships. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Miss Shorty.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Okay, let's have a look. I'll just go through the I'm not used to doing it on my phone, but it's actually quite easy. Let's have a look. I'm gonna go. I'll just, if you've got a question for Sean, put it in the comments and I'll
these dogs. Paris, stop it.
We had a couple of, I need mods. So I think Miss Shorty just messaged me, but if anyone wants to be a mod, let me know. Message me, let me know. Okay. I don't know about this one. Sean, did you speak already about Brian Albert demanding favors from cops' girlfriends?
I haven't spoken about it today, but yes, we know all the stories. That's one of his things. If he's not going to beat you up, he might hit on your girl, your wife, or both of them at the same time. Depends. He's known for that for whatever reason. It's something about him and drinking, because the cops that I have talked to him, talked about him, say on the job when he's not drinking, guy is excellent. He's all business, right? But when you get him drinking off duty, this is when it happens. He's listen. Like I said, you let a guy like that go untouched for so long, okay? He gets this air of invincibility. All right, that's not a good thing to have. It's really not. And when you keep beating up people in your own ranks, in public, and you get away with it, that's how you end up with a Boston cop on your lawn.
Yeah.
dead
Right.
from within inside your house. That's how it happens. Like I said, Superintendent Cox was John O'Keefe. Those 4 people would have been Karen Reed, right? We all could have been Karen Reed, right? All those victims of Brian Albert could have been John O'Keefe. They were lucky. John wasn't. And I'll tell you, his face was beaten bad,
Yeah.
cut up head. The dog got his arm. Higgins knows the whole story. Higgins gave that proffer because they knew he was the weakest link, Lily.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that walked in to have like they said, the formal interview, which is a timeout. It's like, I'll say everything I know and I'll hope for the best. And I guess they didn't think he was the best. So anyways, yeah, so that's the deal. Yeah. Sam Sprague, yeah, he's asked a lot of favors. Of course, he's had a lot of side hustles too with these girls. So who knows?
Interesting. Nick, whose testimony was most damaging for the Commonwealth? Gallagher, Proctor, or Paul?
Well, for me, I'd have to, wow, that's a tough one. I'd have to say, since it was about proving that Karen hit John with the car, had to be Paul. He did not deliver. He did not. Now listen, Proctor killed himself. I mean, Lally literally put him in front of the firing line and just basically allowed him to just commit hara-kiri. He put the sword right in his stomach, right? Proctor didn't add any value other than to see him just basically kill himself on the stand. He did.
Yeah.
Gallagher, come on, Gallagher. I mean, Gallagher, I'll put it like this. Gallagher was a disappointment. For me, he was a disappointment. But if I had to say who was the most damaging, had to be Paul. This was the guy that was supposed to say with authority, this is how Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe.
Yeah.
He did not deliver.
He didn't do any of the above. All he did, excuse me, I think Gallagher was a disappointment because of his demeanor, and he was obnoxious, he was arrogant.
Sure.
You know, the whole why didn't you even ask a judge for a search warrant for Brian Albert's home? You know, this look of shock and how dare you even suggest such a thing.
That. And then he lies. He says, we didn't have to go search. We found the glass that he came out of the waterfall. Oh, really? What's his name? Paul Gallagher. Really, Paul? You knew that at 7:15 in the AM? Or we knew who knew. That was the killers, because the killers put that thing there. So, you know, it's so disappointing. It really is. And he was at 13 years. He was on the DEA task force. Just really, really, really disappointing. Really disappointing.
Wow. Yeah, it really is. And Proctor, well, he was just, I don't know, like whatever. I think I didn't even think he was going to testify, right? I didn't. In the end, we were kind of shocked that he
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
And it was obviously shocking and horrible. But you're right. I think, Trooper Joe Paul was just a disgrace, a complete embarrassment for the Commonwealth.
It was awful.
Jackson, and he may not have been, had he have not been. I think Jackson kind of showed his money's worth there. He nailed him. He nailed him with asking him the right questions.
As you know, his Jackson got a piece of him on the voir dire of that Friday, right?
Yes.
So he had to come back on Monday, or the next time he testified. He still was on direct. When he came back on direct the next time, even Lally couldn't get him to shine at all. He was so nervous, couldn't speak, couldn't talk. And then I think Jackson just backed off. I mean, Jackson got him. Jackson could have literally destroyed the kid. So I think Jackson had a little heart there, but he knew he had him. He knew he had him.
Yeah.
And it was awful. It was awful. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was, I mean, but then even the whole thing, so it wasn't just Paul on the stand. The I mean, the reconstruction that he did out the front of Canton PD. Like, what the hell was that?
yeah,
Like, what are we? You know, like, are we in
yeah,
are we in driving school? Like, what's
yeah.
going on? It's so stupid. It's stupid, laughable.
Literally,
Not
this is
like
the
you see
first
it,
case.
okay.
This is the first case in history that the lead investigator never went to the crime scene. It defies logic. You have to go to the crime scene is ground zero. All right. The fact that they didn't go anywhere near that crime scene until days later, if he went at all. Gallagher
Mm.
says he did. Proctor said he didn't. Who knows, right? But the bottom line is, you're an investigator. You got to go to the crime scene. There is no ifs, ands about it. You have to. It's mandated. You got to make it. You got to make an assessment of your case. That
This
just goes
sorry, you go.
more to show you that was so far away from their brain to do this the proper way. It was all about getting evidence, manufacturing evidence to frame Karen Read. That's it. That is it.
Yeah, well, it was
Oh,
all concocted that morning, right? It was
sure.
all sorted out in
Right.
Brian Albert's living room that
Sure.
morning.
Yep.
And when Jen called Lank to come back, because I
Yeah.
remember something that Karen said, it was all concocted prior to that phone call to
Right.
Lank, if not already pretty much. They were
Sure.
just the tail light being cracked was just lucky for them that they
Sure.
could then actually, you know what? So I have a question for you, a bit of a hypothetical. So, because one thing that stood out to me that was quite unbelievable, literally unbelievable, I thought kind of, oh, that's bullshit. You're a cop, retired cop.
Yeah.
Now, if you had this happen at your house, and let's just say you slept through it all, you slept through all of the EMTs, what would you do? Would you go out there the next day? Because the crime scene, there is no crime scene, right? It's fully open. You could go and do
Well,
whatever
the
roll in the snow, make snow angels,
right.
whatever you do in the snow, because there's no crime scene that the cops have set there. Would you go out and have a look around?
Of course. I mean, even when Jen busted in, stormed in, like he
Yeah,
said,
you still didn't go out there.
right, get out there. Get out there. Get out there. It's your house. All right.
Ah,
You have an officer, all right, that's on your department that was invited to your house, right? Right. You get out there. You do it. You get out there. And he said, well, I didn't want to disturb. Well, come on, Brian. I didn't want to disturb the crime scene. All right. Come on. That thing was so disturbed. Are you kidding me?
he didn't say that, actually. He said, no, there was no need.
Right.
Everyone, like the people that, I can't remember the exact wording, but ultimately it was, when Jackson asked him if he went out there at all that day, right,
Yeah,
throughout the 29th,
right.
and he did like one of these. He went, no, like what?
Right.
It was taken care of.
Right.
The people that were supposed to, that they'd done the job. I didn't need to go out there and have a look. I thought,
No.
that is rubbish. Like, you just would. It's human nature to go out and just have a look.
Yeah.
I mean, a man died. He knew this. We know that he knew this.
He knew.
How can you? That's just, as I said, it's completely unbelievable. It's not believable. Nobody would just ignore that, and not go out and have a look around.
You know what's even more unbelievable is that when Gallagher and Lank came back, right, at 9:00, right, Lank sees Higgins, right, sees Higgins large as life in the kitchen because Higgins is there now, right, and Gallagher says, no, I didn't see Higgins. How the hell do you miss Higgins? I mean,
I know.
Yeah. And, it's just, anyways. Yeah. For Brian Albert, I said when I was on Aidan's show, that for cops are curious by nature. And if it's your house, right, that the action is taking place at, right, we know he knew. But the thing is, that was the thing that most people thought was the most unbelievable. When people talk about this case, everyone has their little niche, but a lot of people say the fact that Brian Albert didn't come out of his house as a first responder, as a Boston cop, just to come out and inquire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Jen was the go-to person, I guess, right? She really was.
She
She
was.
controlled the whole thing,
Yeah.
which brings up a whole other dichotomy with Jen and his relationship with her.
Oh,
It's crazy. It really is.
it really is. Yeah. I mean, Jen kind of being the, yeah, I mean, I don't know if she just fell into that role, or if she is that kind of person, or if, yeah, her and Brian kind of have this, you know, that's the kind of, I guess, the way their relationship works, and then maybe something else on top of that. Who cares, really?
Right.
You
Who
know,
does care?
if they
Who
are
does
banging,
care?
like, I don't
Right.
care. It doesn't change the fact
No.
that they both murdered John, right? That there doesn't change that for me.
No, it
Whatever,
doesn't.
you know, whatever their relationship is.
Exactly.
But it's interesting to think. I mean, if I were Jen and I was kind of being forced to maintain composure all this time and make sure that, you know, you've got Kerry Roberts under wraps, and make sure you go and, you know, make friends with get into Michael Proctor's world somehow. She's been so, you know, and make sure you've got Peggy O'Keefe, you know, you've got her
Right.
under wraps. So Jen has just had her fingers in
How about
every
this?
single one of the
How about
pies.
this?
So
Get Julie Nagel's
yeah,
phone to find out the timestamps on when Ryan Nagel was texting her. That's a lot
yeah,
of work. Most cops wouldn't even think about that. You think that guy, what's his name? Sarif? Sarif wanted to get the hell home. He didn't know shit. He didn't do anything.
he
All he
looked
wanted,
floored.
all he wanted, listen, he had a he should have made an arrest. He should have brought Karen down of what he admitted to hearing. It's my fault. It's my fault. Right? That's what he said. He didn't say he heard, I hit
Yeah,
him, I hit him. He said, it's my fault. It's my fault. The
yeah,
dummy, the dummy didn't even ask another question. He should have said, all right, we're gonna take you down. But see, this is the culture.
yeah.
Or they were told, back off. Let the big boys handle it. Just stay the hell out of it. Listen, it's crazy, but here we are, another year. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah,
I can't. Yeah, fascinating. It's horrible, right? And it's real life for so many people.
right.
And I kind of feel guilty sometimes, kind of saying, "Oh, it's fascinating," and, you know, this person's funny and this
Right.
character's hilarious, but it's real life. There's so many
It's
hundreds of people that
it's
are directly, their lives will never be the same.
it's no more. It's very real for Karen Reed. I can tell you
And
that. And it's. I mean, she has to have. I mean, amazing courage, amazing strength. She's a strong woman, no doubt.
I
And
was
a
watching.
lot of people really underestimate the bond she has with her father, right? A lot of people don't understand that, right? And she's getting the hell knocked out of her for calling her father at, it didn't matter what time of morning it was, right? Whether it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, right? I get calls from my daughters and they can call me anytime they want.
Yeah,
But she has a very special bond with her dad. And I can tell you right now, and they're very close. I mean, you see the hugs and kisses. Who does she go to first? Her dad. Who does she ask? Like Tom CPU, hey, has my dad come yet? Not that she doesn't love her mother. It's always, hey, did my dad come yet? Is my parents here? But she's always asking, did my dad come? That's one thing people don't understand. And they got to realize this, you know?
yeah. I think for anybody that says that, and I've seen it too, and it shits me to tears, because I think you're just not paying attention.
Mm-mm.
You're just they can't read a room,
Right.
right?
No.
And that's unfortunate for them. But it's like, you if you can't, like, it's not even a question to me. It was kind of like, of course, like, that's fine that she called her dad. Who else
Right.
is she
Right.
call?
Right.
She's a 40-year-old woman that's been in a you know, de facto relationship for a
Right.
couple of years. She lives on her own. When she's not at home on her own, she lives with John. and their, and his two adopted children. She works. I mean, she works super hard, right?
Right.
With, and then she's got her mother and her father in Dighton. And the little bit of socializing she did was likely with John. So and then to see as I said, to see the relationship she has with her father
Right.
from the first time I started seeing them at every single hearing. He
Right.
was at every single hearing,
Yep.
sitting in the same spot, and he yeah. So they just can't read a room,
Look,
Sean. Why would
I,
she call it? Must have been guilty. Like, no,
yeah,
mate.
right. Listen,
Just call. Yeah.
I remember when I left my parents' residence, February of 1979. I called my parents every day, all through DC, all through being a cop, all through being a DEA agent, all through being retired. There wasn't a day that didn't go by that I didn't call my parents every day, sometimes 2 and 3 times, to the point where my mother says, Jesus Christ, Sean, we just talked. I have nothing new to talk to you about. But you know something? There's something there's something to say about that. When you're close to your parents, you always want to stay closer. And like I said, I mean, Karen clearly knew something was not right. She knew John would never dump this on her, would never not come home for those kids. She knew this. Okay. And she also knew that John knew that she was supposed to get back to her own residence that night. Right. So there's a lot of people, listen, they're trying to throw everything at the wall to make it stick. And they don't have it anymore. We know the playbook now. They're going to fail worse if they ever go to trial this time, because they can't change the theory. And no matter what, the defense's case is going to get tenfold better. We
Oh,
already know. We know it's like the game plan. We know what down this guy's going long. We know what down is going to be a running play. We know what down it's going to be a pass off or whatever. We know everything they're going to say now. They can't change.
no, that's right.
All
And
right.
the defense have got so much left on the table. I mean, they barely
Sure.
unpack
Oh my.
anything.
Lily, I love saying, hey, 6 witnesses to defend a client and you still couldn't get a conviction. I love it. It's like, how can you not drive that down their throats? All these trolls. I'm going to say 6 witnesses. You still couldn't win. You couldn't get a conviction. 6 witnesses.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they're just all mofos, right?
They're all
6
mofos. They
Yeah. I
are.
mean, how many witnesses do you want to call, Lally? I mean, how does he
68.
go home at night and look in the mirror and think, yeah, I did a great job
I
today?
mean, I mean, it's one of the greatest lines. Come on, 6 witnesses, guys. 6. You still couldn't beat us. You couldn't beat it. It's like going to a boxing match and just jabbing, and you have no knockout punch. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Which is why, as I said to you kind of earlier on in the show, when you said where Karen's in the same spot, which is not,
Oh,
she is. I get what you're saying, but she's not. She's
no.
really not. It's starting. The tables are starting to turn.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
particularly with this jury mishap this week too. You've got to get the Commonwealth in a headlock, right? We need to get them in a headlock, and we're getting there.
Oh yeah, we are. I mean,
Yeah.
but before this is over, I don't think they're gonna have any witnesses to put on the stand. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And who imagine them having to say to Brian Albert and Higgins and
Colin,
Parky,
Colin,
pardon?
Colin Albert too.
And
You know.
Colin Albert and Jen, all of them saying,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, you're going to have to come back.
yeah, that's true. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they have now a record of all their testimony, and they're going to have to. It's hard to keep track of those lies. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, how many? What? 2 grand juries? A lot of them, 2 or 3 grand juries, and a trial, and police statements. Not that they're reliable anyway, but yeah. So,
Right.
Phoebe says, Sean, are they going to be able to charge Fanning with grape?
I guess, yeah, a grape. Um, you know, I know there's a 15-year statute of limitations, right? So what he's saying that happened 10 years ago. You know, what he alleged happened is rape, right? I imagine he claims he can identify certain a certain part of his privates where he has a mold. I don't know. I mean, they may try, but who's he going to complain to? That's the thing. He has to go to an entity that's defending the likes of Fanning, Proctor, Uri, and Tully. Morrissey's it happened in his county. I believe it happened in his county, right? I think.
Is this with the Kevin Crap? Is it Crap? Kevin Crap?
It's Kevin Clapp.
Oh, that's right. I knew it didn't sound right.
he alleges that Fanning raped him because he thought that he was lying to him over the mother's insurance policy. Fanning thought there was 10,000, and I guess there was only 5,000. So because of that,
I haven't watched. I'll have to kind of get up to speed with that if you think it's legit. But I didn't know if but that's good. So I'll look.
It's an incredible story, but like I said, I mean, for something like that, well, first of all, what jurisdiction is going to listen to him? Because I believe it happened in Braintree. I think the guy was living in Braintree, so that falls smack under the DA, the Norfolk County District Attorney's office. Or maybe he was living in Stoughton. I'm not sure. Either way, it's the DA's office in Norfolk County. No one's going to listen to him. So I don't know. That's the problem. How do you get someone to investigate when they're all in cahoots with each other? This is the problem we face now.
Right. I mean, Michael Morrissey, I'm convinced, like, he is just, I can't stand him. Like, I am convinced, I sent you that thing the other day that I won't say out loud because there's no real need for it. And I don't want to, but that article I sent you.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yeah. And I was kind of looking at, I was just looking at past cases really over the last 5 years or so. But that's just kind of what I do.
Sure.
And I was doing a bit of digging around on Morrissey because I really think so. I didn't realize that he had never prosecuted any criminals when he came in 2010. Was that 2004? How long has he been in?
He's been in for over 12 years, I believe. Maybe more. 15.
So 2010 he came in. And he came in, and in his, I read another article that in his, there was two other guys people that were running, and he said, sure, I've never prosecuted criminals, but I've been running insurance businesses or firms for years. I know how to handle the money.
Yeah,
I'm like, you are ridiculous. Like this.
Right. I don't know much about him. I know that he's not your classic thug type guy, like a guy that's a tough guy. He's one of these roly-poly, easygoing, but he has a lot of power. He's got money. The money is power, no matter what.
He's right. He knows what he's doing with money, and that is more. You can have Brian Albert go and flog people all day long, all night long, after he's had too many beers or whatever.
Right.
But Morrissey is the one that you really have to be afraid of, because he's the type that'll make you feel crazy.
Yeah.
By telling you that you're crazy and that you're imagining things, because he knows how to put things in the right places.
Right.
And,
so there's a video that was taken not too long ago, and I'm not going to talk much about it, but there's a bunch of guys and they're talking, and Morrissey comes over, and he knows these guys are from Canton. And he comes in, he says, he's kind of laughing like a fool. He says, no, I just like to get different people's views on the case. And he's there like, if I was him, I would have been more blustery and vocal. Guy's just like a bump on a log, and I hope these guys show it because it's amazing. This guy. I mean, I've worked in cities with DAs that were very powerful, very strong, very in your face. You don't mess with my, whatever. This guy, he's one of these guys that are just like, geez, I don't know. He was like, not to take anything away from people, but even Howie Carr said, he was the debate team captain. He was ran for president of his high school. I mean, just one of those guys. He wasn't
Yeah.
the football player, jock turned lawyer turned, tough DEA, tough on crime. This guy wants to give everyone a pass.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And
He doesn't want to lock up anyone.
no, it seems that way.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to go back and look because,
Right.
I think there's a lot more. I'm not so much been framed, but yeah, there's anyway.
Right.
Stand by, stay tuned. Thanks so much for that.
Right.
I'm going to have a look. All right, I'm just going to go through the questions. How amazing the glera and microdots are in my channel.
How about, listen, I can't say it enough. I watch it every day. Richie, I'm going to tell you, buddy, if you don't win an award for the little things, I can't wait to see the whole thing. I'm telling you, that last one, all right, look the other way. I'm not even looking at it right. I'm getting little chills right now up my, it's just the music, the way you did it, buddy. You are a amazing piece of just talent. Like can't believe it. It's beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, well, it's incredible. The state, I can't remember. I feel bad not remembering the title. The state lynching of Karen Reid. I think that's right. It's definitely got the state lynching that he released. I'm pretty sure either during verdict watch, maybe it was right at the end of trial. If not, it was either during verdict watch or just after. That one, like I had tears in my eyes and I was frozen, like staring at it frozen. That one was amazing as well.
All his work. I don't know how the hell he does. I love how the hell did he get those pictures to come up, the portraits to come alive, the snapshots on the mantle. How the hell did he get those things to come alive? It's just amazing.
So damn intricate and to scale all of the it's so it's well done. You deserve all of the success that's coming your way, microdots, and I know you've alluded to that being
I see he had the duffel bag in there. He had the
duffel bag.
How about the duffel bag? We got to find it. But anyway, he had the big plastic bags. I'm telling you, that's how it had to be. Had to be that way.
The dumbbell at the sink, the cleaning product. It gave me shivers.
When that edge backed out and you see John on the lawn, it's a showstopper. It just hits you like it's just amazing. And the music, boom, and it just stops. And then you hear the flag and the wind.
Oh,
it's just so eerie and sad and mystifying all at the same time. A flood of emotions hit you. And that's when you know you're onto something incredible. That's how you know. So,
yeah, really, really incredible. I'm just scrolling through the. Thanks, Clara. Thanks so much. Great live. Thanks for having Sean on and all your videos.
Will's a great guy. Great guy.
I love him. I love him. And he's another one. Like, it's so cool because it's like, I know you guys. Like, I know you guys really well. You're mates.
I know.
My world.
Great.
And so it's surreal, but it's so great. I love it. It's just such an awesome group of people, and it will in particular, like he has made me laugh.
Oh yeah,
so freaking much. Like his humor is, everyone's got their own unique. I mean, I have because I can listen to Will kind of well, I do my daily thing or whatever, and I'll stop if I'm doing housework with my AirPods, or if I'm, driving or whatever, and I'll crack up. Just, I don't know, just he's bloody funny, top bloke,
Oh
and
yeah.
gorgeous and tall. When he was
Me,
at court,
big guy,
I
tall.
was
Man,
watching
he's
live you and Dylan when we saw him
oh
at
my
court,
God.
and we were all like, "What the hell?" Yeah,
Yeah. Amazing.
yeah. So you're a legend. Thanks so much, Will.
Yeah. Great
Uh,
guy. Great guy. Listen, I said, we've got a great team on this side. I mean, look at the other side, what they have. I mean, just
that's just
keeping it
garbage.
real. I just got to keep it real. Kevin could have been on this side. He should have been on this side, but he got slapped around, and this is what happens to people, right? They all get slapped, and then they go the other side. Look at Natalie. You think she's regretting things now? I mean, and then Rogue. They all got slapped, and they're gonna get
Yeah,
slapped even worse now. It's amazing.
yeah. Rogue. How funny. How funny. And Kevin, Plevin, far out. Oh, I
Jesus, man.
crack up at. That's what I love doing with Will, because I refuse to give him any views.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things anyway that I probably wouldn't find as funny if I was to watch it on my own. But watching Plevin with the glarer is like the best thing ever. It's so
Right.
fun because, yeah,
It is.
it's hilarious because he's,
The
yeah.
Mike Crawford did a whole thing on
Oh
Kevin
yeah,
too,
Mike's good
and
too.
it just it's like wow. And Mike was right on the money. I mean
Yeah,
Kevin.
about when he said he's going to challenge his manhood a couple of months ago, about
Yeah,
him being
a
in
jelly.
like cahoots with the DA
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah. Right.
Chris Albert.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, is that the one you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the one recently where I guess Kevin did a thing about Peter Murphy and Mark Betterow, and Kevin was calling you know Mike jelly and all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
But Mike went right at him and said, "Some you hate the fact that I had 80,000 people watching me, and when I go on, I see you have 133 people watching. I mean, listen, it's pretty bad, right? And the 133 people, probably 2/3 of it are guys like me because I'll watch them. I just want to see how foolish he is. He's
yeah.
foolish. He is. He's foolish. Plus, I get great content from him too. It's just he's so easy. He's easy. So
That's right. I think because you've had you've had a relationship with him, right?
oh
I
yeah,
mean, I think the first time I remember watching you and him live.
right.
The night that he told you to F off and
Oh, that one.
he cut
Jesus.
you off, right? Actually, I
Whoa.
think I might have even watched that with Will. Anyway, because that was months ago.
Oh
But
yeah.
I remember that really clearly, and
Well,
I thought this guy's unhinged, right? He's
that-
actually unhinged.
yeah.
He would not let you
Well,
speak.
he knew what road I was going down, and
Yeah,
he
he
knew.
did.
He
Didn't like
knew,
it.
and he didn't want it. But listen, we had an early it was this time last year that I was on his show many times, and he was not the guy he is today, but I was on the famous show where Turtleboy and the writers just tore him apart. He was never the same after that night, and I was in the chair just like I am now, and he's going off, and I thought, did I miss something? Because I didn't know you could watch these chats. I was in the private chat, right, the other side, and I didn't know you could see comments, and he is being torn apart, calling him this, calling him that, two-side Kevin, all this stuff, and he went off. It's a classic. I said, "Did I do anything?" He said, "No, Sean, but fuck these people." It was crazy.
So is that kind of when he turned?
That was exactly the time he turned, and he turned big time. And he turned on me, and he turned on all these people. It's just crazy.
And so whose show was he on?
So I was on his show. He had his own show.
Yeah. So
And
you were on his
so
show.
I was a guest, and he was interviewing me on whatever, right? And I'm talking, and I can see him like I'm watching you.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
see him looking to the right, and he's reading
So
stuff.
he was watching the chat where everyone was
Yeah,
kind of
right.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
all of a sudden he just addresses Aidan, and he addresses the writers, and he does a rant for like 10 minutes. Matter of fact,
I'll have to find it.
He had two partners, and he did this several times until the two partners came on. It was Aaron and Dave McGrath, and they said, "Kevin, listen, man, maybe you need to take a timeout. We'll take
Oh,
it from here." He goes, "No, F this, F
oh,
that," and they were concerned. I mean, even poor Aaron goes, "I just felt like I was at the table when my parents were beating themselves up." That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was to poor Aaron and Dave, and they were in the green room waiting to come on. As a matter of fact, Dave left. He just said, "That's it." He just disappeared. He came on 5 minutes and he was gone after that. So, anyways, listen, it's a sad. Who knows? I mean, the
yeah.
poor guy's on these meds. I don't know what the hell the problem is, but he just went off the reservation. He really did. And he's got all these whack jobs following him, which is fine. Who cares? Whack.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
Julie,
I mean,
Julie
I have
Carpenter. You know, you got Julie Carpenter and all these other, whatever the hell they are. I mean, it's just
Wendy
crazy.
Murphy, and yeah,
Oh, Wendy and
I think Kevin
Grant.
is, he's kind of on the. I don't just, I don't. Not that I know him. I'm definitely not gonna follow him. I don't follow him on Twitter or anything because like everything that I see, I see through you guys.
Right.
And yeah, because when his posts do pop up, they frustrate the shit out of me. And I think, don't reply, Lil, don't reply, because you're just
Right.
gonna. It's like banging your head against a brick wall, and there's no point. Like he does it for that reason. But
Right.
yeah, I certainly wouldn't wish him any harm. And there is
No.
there is a sense of adorability about him, right? Where he does. I have thought this guy is dead set. He's not taking the piss.
No.
Is he?
No.
He's taking the piss. He is dead set when he says things, about the evident logic, logic and evidence.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I'm thinking,
logic,
no, he's not. He's not
evidence
taking
equals
shit.
truth, you know? So, the problem with him is he bought the narrative. He bought the manufactured evidence because he says, "I go by what the Commonwealth produced." Well, they produced a false narrative that he completely aligned himself with. He's the one that didn't do creative thinking, whatever the hell he calls it. He's the one that refuses to see through he defends these cops. He defends Paul. Well, he actually did the right thing. He just has a different way of saying it. He'll be much better, he says, the next time around. But I don't think there'll be a next time. I can't. I'm out of the prediction game though. So yeah, he is. That's true reality. He is entertaining. He really is. And I gotta tell you, the poor guy. He's a good speaker. I mean, he speaks well. I think. All right. I think maybe I'm
No,
just
he
kind
does.
of feel
Sorry, I'm
bad. Maybe I
laughing.
feel bad for him though because I still give him. I don't know. I still think it's like a dream for him that he just hasn't woke up out of it yet because he's going to realize that he sold his soul to the other side. He really did. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. That's what's so hard to believe is, that. That's why I think that's why he's both fascinating and hilarious, because
right.
there are times that I think, no, he is definitely, even going to the hearing
Oh
and
yeah.
not wearing a blue shirt. So everyone else was wearing a blue shirt,
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
guess.
he didn't wear a blue shirt.
Yeah.
With a polo that was like, you could, and then like with the the massive microphone.
I know. Really. Talk
Oh
about.
my god!
Jeez. I know. And then he's there with Rogie Rogue, and
And
they're
his film
talking. And
crew.
Rogue's trying to be undercover. Hey, yeah, I don't know if we should. I used to be on the other side, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, Rogie Rogue. I mean, come on, just the big Mike, and he goes, I don't know. Dave, I guess, set him up, but even Dave knew he didn't want to get into the fray. Why could he? I mean, why should he? But yeah, Plevin, I don't know. Yeah.
It's freaking funny. I mean, whatever. I believe he's harmless, right? Sure, if he believes it, that's fine. I think
Right.
he's the best of a bad bunch. Let's put it that way.
Right. And the thing
For
is,
sure.
I did a clip on him where he had himself, the wine lady, Karen McCormick, and this other guy, I don't know, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, I saw
Bicentennial,
that.
whatever, millennial, crazy millennial, whatever his name is. They both
He's a
said,
douchebag. He's a
yeah,
douchebag.
they both said, not millennial, right? He kind of just kind of laughed. They both said, I don't care. I don't care what happens. He said, if Sean is right, I don't care. I'll just go home. I'll just go move on. And that's the difference between that side and us. Because if I'm wrong, I'm going to be devastated. I'm not going to move on. I'm going to be. He said if he's wrong, and she did too. She said, I don't care. So what do you stand for? If
Yeah,
you don't care, what the hell do you stand for?
yeah.
And that's my thing. That's my whole thing. I'd be absolutely devastated. Devastated if this was all wrong. If I was all wrong, I'd be devastated. They say, well, I don't care. We'll just move on. I'll move on. I don't care. Means nothing to me. That's what they said. Both of them. And I love it. I just keep playing it every
Yeah,
now and then.
and that's exactly right, Sean. Like I said earlier, they don't matter. Like they really don't matter. People get so worked up, right? Like,
Right.
about all of the trolls and what they, and so much so. And I get it if you're there in person and you're getting threats and you're copping bullshit.
Right.
Getting stuff sent to your house, and that's a different level. I'm talking about just kind of trolling, and people have tried it on me as well, and I just ignore. It's so hard, but it's like, okay, I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with anybody about Karen being guilty or not guilty. It's like saying, the sky is not blue. There's no point.
No.
I'm just going to walk away. I know the
Right.
sky's blue. If you want to think it's purple, you're not going to convince me.
Right.
Exactly. I know you can't show. I've seen the evidence that the sky is blue. You can't prove to me. I've got it on authority.
That's
so
right.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So we're on just over 2 hours. So
Is it really? Geez, sounds like we just got on here.
I know I'm fine, but
No,
have a look.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm so behind in the comments, guys. I'm so sorry.
That happens when you become big time there, Lily. You're like Dylan now. Dylan can't get through his stuff, it's amazing.
He's so good with his comments, like saying hello to everyone. And
Oh, I know.
He's so good. I've got ADHD as well, and I'm just like, I just get like entrenched in, what you're saying, and then what I'm saying next, and what's happening. And
True.
so I'm going through. This is how far behind I am. It's when you said whack jobs.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
like I said, I shouldn't even say that, but the thing is, they've taken so many shots at me, and he's discredited me. He's tried everything in the book to have his people discredit me. He knows different. He's saying I'm an agent of Karen Reed, right? He's saying you talk to Karen Reed every day. Well, if that was the case, right? If I was talking to Karen Reed every day, and he says I get everything wrong, well, then Karen must be playing me, right? Right? That's what I'm saying. If I'm all wrong, right, then Kevin, you can't have it both ways. You can't. And that's what I'm saying. Is he that dumb? He doesn't understand what he's saying. But it's like
I don't know.
What they have to do. They have to do that. They have nothing. Now they have nothing. They have zero now. They failed. Yeah. That side failed.
Go on a rant. Oh, the freaking the stairs and the Apple Watch.
Oh yeah.
Trying to discredit Apple and celebrate. Stop. Just stop it. You don't descend or go upstairs, whatever. Ascend stairs by waving your phone around in 2020. do.
No.
Apple
Well,
know what they're doing, and we would know that by now for sure, right?
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
we would know that. It's not,
Right.
yeah. So,
Listen, Olivia Nile is incredible, and when she
amazing.
does a deep dive on things, and he's trying to go toe to toe with her. I mean, come on. I mean, but she's the expert. I mean, she's amazing. I call
Yeah,
her the combat analyst. She is just absolutely amazing.
yeah, she
Uh,
is. Yeah, as I said, so when I found Olivia on X, oh, I don't even know when I first went on X because I just needed to find more information. I was like,
mhm,
went through all of her profile, read everything because she had all the documents, right? And that's when I found
right.
Sleuthy's spreadsheet and found the Facebook. Amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I know
Sorry.
it's true. It's true. But that's the thing. I can't do deep dives into the documents. I see it. But the thing about Olivia and Melanie went through on her own show, went through every page of every document to instruct her people on this case. And she did a fabulous job, incredible job, the same way Olivia does. And then they put it out on their content, like Olivia does it really amazing on Twitter, X,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, the other side isn't doing it. The other side is just creating noise, creating false narratives, right?
yeah,
They said this. This is what they're all saying during the last summer. Oh, Sean, you don't know. We've got Karen going to Picoside Farms, which is a place off of Pleasant Street, right? Checking, they get the camera, checking her taillight that she knew was there. Oh, Sean, we got Karen going down to 34 Fairview before she went to Jen's. Oh, Sean, we got this, we got this, we got and it was all for nothing. It never, oh, we got Gretchen Voss saying that she took the pieces out of the tail. No, it was all a bunch of BS. They didn't have a thing, nothing, zero, right?
right.
Yeah, nothing. And
Nothing.
the problem is, who was lying? Was it the cops that they were telling? I'm going to tell you right now. They got that phone. They were releasing Aidan's contacts. All right. I know personally, they were releasing Aidan's contacts to the chief of police in Canton, Lena Rafferty, and she was putting out the information that so and so was a rat, so and so contacted Aidan, and that's how we knew. So, anyways, but and then of course the documents from Natalie. Well,
Yeah.
because I had them, but they were putting out the ones that put Karen in a bad light, but they could never put out the ones that say, and I'm not going to do it again, that Morrissey's phone was tapped, his office phone himself, but they couldn't do that. They have it. I know they have it, right? They have it. But how can they can't do that because that kills them, right? They
Of
they
course.
can't put out that we know how John was killed, right? And we knew this was like in March of 2022. They can't put that out, but they'll put out, something that Aidan say, I don't believe that Jen did this, and just misunderstandings. They want to create the false narrative, and that's all they have. They know they have nothing, zero.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah. Oh,
Who did
Brenda.
you?
Hey, now Brenda. Now think about this. All right, there's Brenda. Brenda
Yeah.
lives here in Naples, and I met her at CVS, right? And we took the picture, and she became my wife
Oh,
for some reason. Everyone thought Brenda was my wife, and I was like, she is beautiful. But
I, I remember you
yeah, it was Brenda right there. Right?
telling me this story or
Yeah,
telling, yeah,
yeah. So
Dylan.
there was a chance meeting. We're at the CVS, and Brenda's
Yeah.
there, and I'm asking my wife Susie. I said, Susie, we need mouthwash or some toothpaste or some. And I hear this lady go, "Is that Sean McDonough?"
Yeah, that's right.
And I go, "Oh no, Jesus, what's going?" She says, "That's you, Karen Reed case, Sean in the Gulf, whatever she said. It was great, but yeah." Uh, She's a very, very, very nice lady. It was very nice.
Hi, Brenda. Welcome. Thanks for
Brenda
coming.
Lord. Yes. Hey, Brenda, it's not much rain right now. It was pretty bad here before. I was hoping we were going to get this on, which is nice, but I guess more is coming. We got the outer bands coming in from Tropical Storm Debbie.
So you're getting okay, and it's going to be a big one.
No, tropical storm. I mean, that I'll take. The hurricanes, no, not so much. So.
No way. Well, we don't get hurricanes, but I live in Queensland, Australia, so which is
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like the Florida of Australia.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
So
You got those big waves.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
surf. Wow,
Yeah, I live on the beach, and
nice.
so yeah, well, not like right on, but just like 200 meters away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah, yeah. It's beautiful, like it's incredible. So yeah, I think I've not been to Florida yet, but I think it's kind of the same in terms
Yeah,
of weather. Very
right.
humid during
Oh
summer,
man, it's been
like
hot, so hot here the past couple of days, but it's nice. There's Dana. Dana Leonard's in the house. I see that.
ah,
Yeah.
easy. I'm still
Uh,
am
resistant to silence. Dana. Yeah.
so it's the armpit of Australia. Yeah, pretty much.
Someone
And it's
said.
just constant sweat. Like it's the worst. I hate it. Hey Dana, there you are. I was finding you. How are you? Welcome. Yay.
There's Dana. Great guy. Tracy. Great lady.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Cristoforo. Great guy.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their job.
Yeah.
Buttercup. I see Buttercup there. She's got my back all the time.
Does she?
Oh, Buttercup always has my back. I'd go through any door with Buttercup. Yes, I would. No doubt.
Oh, hi, Buttercup.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of rain. Not right now. Pretty nice. Actually, pretty nice right now. I see the clouds coming over from where Brenda Lord lives. I'm up here in North Naples, so.
Yeah, yeah. So how far a drive is Miami?
Oh, so Miami. Well, Fort Lauderdale is the easiest. You get on Alligator Alley. I can get to Lauderdale probably an hour,
Oh,
25 minutes, and then Miami is probably another, depending on the traffic, another 30 minutes south. You know, where Tampa is 2.5 hours from me. So literally, Miami, Fort Lauderdale is a lot closer to me than Tampa. But
right.
Sarasota's in striking distance, which is beautiful. Bradenton, um, Venice, which is awesome.
Yeah,
St.
so
Pete's.
I haven't heard of Venice, Florida, I don't think.
When I got promoted to go to Naples, Florida, right? Well, they just said, Sean, you're going to Naples. I thought I was going to Naples, Italy. I said, hey, wait a minute. I am not going to take Italian. It's either Spanish or, send me. No, Sean, it's Naples. I said, where? Florida. I said, I don't remember because I was an East Coast guy. I was like with Will. I was more like, Miami, Lauderdale, Boca, that I was an East Coast guy and never knew anything about the West Coast, really. And it's actually a beautiful, beautiful area here. White beaches, the sands are white sand. It's gorgeous. It really is here.
Yeah. I want to visit, for sure. I want to.
Englewood's beautiful too. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So how
Yeah.
long have you been in Florida now for then? How
Since
long?
2000, I can't believe it's 20 years. 20 years ago.
Oh,
20 years
yeah,
ago this
right.
time. Yeah. Yeah. 20 years flew, I tell you. And Marco Island too. Look at, yeah. Wow, you got a reality check. You got to come on over.
Yeah, Sam, I think just because I know where Miami is on the map and
Yeah.
I know where Naples is kind of on the other coast. And I
Yeah.
just thought, yeah, just to Miami, I think is similar to our Gold Coast. It's like when you live here, you're like, oh, I don't want to go. Like it's
Right.
tourist central and young people. I went there, when you go clubbing, right? It's just it
Right.
doesn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like I said, it's like it's a whole different world now than it used to be. I know my parents had their honeymoon at the Fontainebleau Hotel. Nick Francis, that's right, golf capital of the world. It's Naples, Florida. It is.
Is it?
Per capita? Yeah, there's so many golf courses here. It's really amazing. So
Yeah, it's
Hialeah, yeah, we did a lot of surveillances in Hialeah. Will, great little area.
The Bath girl, Sean, do you think defense should be able to look at law enforcement personal cell phones? I don't know if that's like are you having a crack? Yeah, they should, especially law enforcement like Proctor.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt, because of the circumstances. They knew their phones, their work phones were going to be looked at, but they also had enough information to jump up on their personal phones because they were using personal phones to communicate, thinking that no one would ever peek at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, that was another thing, that I think that was frustrated the shit out of me, re Plevin, is that, and surprised me mostly in Paul O'Keefe's interview, is thinking that, I don't know, having it out for Josh Levy almost on a personal level.
He's saying,
he got involved. He injected
called him
himself
corrupt.
into the case. What he has no business coming into a state murder. And I'm thinking, are you high? Are you like? Are you taking the piss, or are you like? It's really it's. I don't understand how they don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, he alleged that Josh Levy and the FBI were corrupt. Listen, thank God they got into this case, right? Thank God, because if not, probably Karen would be in jail right now. Yeah. That's the problem. That is the problem. I mean, that is the problem with Commissioner Cox. If he died, those 4 people that he was chasing would have been responsible, would have been charged with his murder, right? A stone cold setup. This was, right?
And you said, so how many others are out there? And the thing with Karen is, if I have no doubt in my mind that they intended that, she'd take a deal. And when she didn't, they upped the charges and indicted her 2nd degree. And then she still didn't. And then they just thought, fuck it, we're just going to keep going.
I love when I was talking with Natalie in the earlier days, right? Around this time last year. And I did ask her, I said, how the hell did you connect with Karen after all those years? She said, well, the university has like one of these social network type things, and word got around, and she said, I finally got an avenue to get to Karen. And so either they talked or they emailed. I think they spoke. Well, her story is, I called Karen. She says, I'm praying for you, Karen. I'm so sorry that you're involved in this. And Karen, she says, in only the way Karen can say it, she says, what are you talking about, Natalie? I didn't do this. I'm getting fucking set up big time. That's what Natalie said. And I said, this is beautiful. It's really amazing that she knew. Well, of course, Natalie didn't jump in until early April of 2023. So Karen knew everything by then. She knew it all.
That's right.
None of us knew anything. Nor did Natalie. And basically, Karen had it all. And she goes, what are you talking about, Natalie? They set me up. They fucking set me up. That was the quote. They set me up. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, she knew it when she said it, when she was charged the 2nd time. Right. When we heard it, right? Even Lally and the DA thinking that was damning for Karen. I don't understand it. I'm like, this is not damning.
No.
This is knowing that it's not some grand conspiracy theory, which they call it, that took months and months to come up with once she was in, charged with murder. No, before she was officially charged.
Right. So, it's funny. When Lally made that representation, not in trial, but at one of the hearings, he misquoted the whole thing. He said that she said that Colin and Brian smashed John's head against her taillight, right? That's what he represented in
Yeah, I
in
know.
court. And then the judge goes, "I'd like to hear that." And it came out to be completely different. She said,
Yeah.
"You're in on the joke on this? You know, we all know that Colin and Brian beat up John, killed John, and I have a cracked taillight and John's pulverized." That made Karen more of a hero because she
Yeah.
knew. She knew. So, and they still had the gall to play it. I mean, really, when you think about it,
But
that was
Bev did,
crazy what she did.
yeah, it's
They did.
stupid. It's just so, all of it's so stupid. And the inverted video, I mean, I can't even get started on that because it makes me so angry. That inverted video was
Oh man.
that was on purpose. It was contrived. Him and Bukaki, they sat down and worked out what they were going to say because they're
Of
so
course.
careful about determining where the driveway is, which door they go in. It's disgusting. If you really
No.
watch, it's like you guys are shameful. You are shameful,
Right.
shameful people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to be, whatever the word, I don't know what it is. He needs to be disciplined for that.
Oh
It
yeah.
needs to be investigated. It is that is malicious.
And he had the nerve on
Yeah,
cross-examination to say to Jackson, when he said, "You knew that was inverted." He goes, "I didn't know." He lied on the stand. He knew it was inverted. He said to Jackson, "If it wasn't for me bringing this up now, a day later, this would have been passed along." He goes, "I didn't know." I mean, there's another lie, another lie. And then one time he's saying that he's the guy that drove the car in because he says,
yeah,
"I'm the guy that got out of the car and took the picture of the front of the car." And then
yeah,
another one, and by the way, another guy who's really hitting it good is John Como. He's doing
yeah.
some fantastic stuff with these videos and the car placements of the cars. And, you know, I mean, it's just amazing. And doing the breakdown of the Sally port, everything, and wearing chicken costumes. And it's just,
Oh, he's hilarious, isn't
John,
he?
he's great. He's
He's the
incredible.
no shirt guy, right?
Yeah, he's that guy. He's like, he is a big dude too, man.
Yeah, he is. He's
He is
massive.
very comfortable in his own skin, I must say. The guy is
Yeah, he's a
great.
legend. I love it when you call him. He's an absolute legend.
He is.
He's
And,
cool as. And
yeah.
go he whose house did he go to? Someone from the select
Oh, he
board in
went
Big
yeah,
Boot, right?
he went to, Mike Loughlin's house and
That's right.
saying, "I object, I quack," or whatever the hell he was saying. And then they called the cops on Mike called the cops on him. And there was a report taken, and John went down and got the report. And John says, "Listen, I got every right to be on public property." Right? So, I mean, listen, I feel bad for that town. I really do, Lily,
Yeah,
because who do they run to now? Who do the good citizens of Canton go to
yeah.
report crimes against them? You know, how can they do it? You know, so
Well, just like with the water balloons, the water bombs filled with bleach,
oh, the bleach, yeah. And then
and
Kevin
they
saying,
like can't go. I mean, I was even shocked that she went to Canton Police, or they did, but I don't know. I don't even know.
but Kevin said that Rita was lying, that Rita
Oh,
fabricated everything. I
it's
mean,
gut. I know. I've heard that too. That they did
he's
it.
really off the charts. He's off his rocker. He really is. I don't know. The meds must be affecting him. He said that Jill Daniels was 85 years old. I mean, listen, I know it was a slip, but you know, some pal, own your mistakes. You know, Jill Daniels. What
Yeah,
a pair. What I mean, she is. When she came out, you see the venom, see the anger. What would possess a person to get that angry? She has nothing to do with this case, but she had venom, poison coming out of her eyes, and her actions was just absolutely crazy,
yeah.
crazy.
And the one thing I think she said to Aidan that stood out to me that whole situation was, yeah, you didn't even know John. Like, why do you care? You didn't even know John. And
Right.
it's like,
I know.
why would you say that? That's actually, why do you care then? If
Right.
your family, like, why do you care? Jill, why do
Right.
you care so much that Aidan cares so much? And like, this is the thing. It's like, well, you clearly care a lot, that he cares a lot about finding justice for John O'Keefe.
Right.
But why do you care so much? So much so that you come down in your car, someone drives you after Chris called her, someone drives her down and get out of the car and attack him. And it's like, why do you care? Have you asked yourself that?
Yeah. Amazing.
People
And she's got her phone that says Braden Kearney.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 100%.
So which one of those mofos is Braden Kearney, who's now, I don't know, Creighton Brady, or whatever his name is. I still call him Braden.
You know, I've thought a lot about if I were, you know, in the McCalvert's shoes, and I was legitimately innocent, right? And I thought, okay, well, if I had some dude like Turtleboy kind of doing those sorts of things and saying, you know, that I was a murderer and saying, so I thought, okay, cool. I would literally just sit down with the guy. I would say, okay, can we like meet for a coffee or something? I really just want to kind of iron this out, because whatever you think I'm involved in, it wouldn't get that far. But the fact that they evaded him so much at the beginning and they were combative, scream, rather than, I don't know, I just feel like if that was me, I'd kind of reach out to the person or the journalist and say, yeah, I'm not really down with what you think might have happened. Can we have a chat? Because there's the kind of, but I want it off the record or whatever, right? I don't want to.
Sure.
No, as far as I understand, none of them have ever been a reasonable human beings about it.
No.
Which is like, okay, why not? There's a reason that they haven't been reasonable.
And even myself, so many times I reached out back channels, publicly on lives, to try to have a dialogue with Carl Dougal. He was the only cop that was the face coming out for the Boston cops. I said, hey, Carl, you're a detective. Let's talk, right? Off record, on the record. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what you see that I don't see, please.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have given me something. He doesn't have it. None of them have it, right? I tried. They won't engage. That tells you something. You're right about that. A normal person would sit down and say, listen, I know you think this way, but this is what the deal is, right? So, I mean, let's face it. When you have the police in the town doing what they're doing, all right, not responding, making traffic stops of these perceived Karen Reed supporters, right? Whether they support or not, right? They're harassing the citizens of Canton, the town of Canton. And it's all going to come back on them. It truly is. It's all going to come back on them. You know?
I think it's already started to, right? I mean, it's changed that town forever. Right. As you know, I mean, they used to run the town, didn't they?
They sure did. So it looks like, I don't know, it looks like Helena needs some lawyer money. I don't know. She must perceive that something's coming her way. She's selling her a house. Think about that. Cop salary, almost a $2 million home, right? Over 10,000 square feet. Very nice. All right. But listen, maybe I should have become a cop in Canton. Then these guys are making so much money. Right?
Yeah.
Look at Dennis Sweeney. He knows what they're like up there. He has them all around his house. And even his house got hit, right, with the bleach balloons. And he's got a cop, Lieutenant Lank, that lives directly across the street from him. And these kids, or whoever, had absolutely no fear of lighting up Dennis and Brenda's beautiful garden, and it's a beautiful area there, Pride, right? And they had absolutely no fear of doing what they did in front of a lieutenant from the Canton Police house, right in front. Can't miss it. So.
Yeah, I wonder what will eventuate from that, because, I mean, I know that Rita said that there was actually a vape found in one of the bags with some balloons in it. know, like a vape.
A vape? Really?
Yeah, which would, I mean,
I,
that's
I, I wonder if they did what they did to the duckies. What if they did the little processing? No, I wonder. I guess they haven't. I guess they haven't been doing any more ducky investigations since Yuri. Yuri's on the bricks now. I mean, that was his
that's right.
big. That was his
Yeah,
big job. The duckies.
it
Oh
was
God.
changing. It was career changing.
It's
The duck,
just
the
how
ducky
can a
detective.
state trooper seriously listen? I've worked with some great state troopers. I really have in my lifetime. How the hell can the Massachusetts State Police seriously look at this kid, Yuri Buchanan, and know that he's actually doing investigation of these are the little ones. They're about that big, right? If you would miss them. These are not the big duckies. Like where the hell is my ducky?
Like if they were big duckies, it'd
This
be
is not
maybe
this is not
serious.
like this ducky, right? These are the little ones, right? And they did a search warrant on the main ducky guy. Listen, they have a ducky guy. They did 2 search warrants on this poor bastard, right? And and then she did an article. I got it. The ducky is killing. She did an article about the ducky guy and all this. Look at the baby. I love it.
This is Arnold.
And this is what they're reduced to, and they still haven't found the Fort Edge, which I'm still that
They're on to
chilled.
they still haven't found the Port
Ducky
Edge.
Patrol, Ducky Patrol, and they're going out knocking on doors because of mean emails. I mean, what have they reduced themselves to?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the state
and
police.
they're working so hard on trying to put, Turtleboy in jail.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
Garbage. It's
it's
just
awful.
garbage. It's just such, I'm so angry on behalf of the citizens
Oh,
because
God.
I can tell you what, it's just so misplaced and it's so corrupt. It's horrible. That's
Yeah.
why I as well. I'm like, I've got your back. I'm just little person in Australia, but like I'm coming. I'm going to go to
Are you
Boston.
coming over? Oh,
I'm
good
going
for
to
you.
100%.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know when,
Ducky
but
Gate.
and I'll let everyone know that I'm coming because yeah, I just want to go on it. Almost like I just want to. I want to meet Dana and Tracy
Ah,
and Paul.
stop it. Yeah, for
Um,
sure. For
obviously, yeah,
sure.
everyone that's there, but
Well,
um, yeah,
anyways,
lots
I
of vape
think
and
we're in
ducky.
some I do believe we're in some very good waters here. The waters are calm, right? The problem is now is that we got this hearing coming up August 9th. You know, what happens now, we don't know, right? I wouldn't expect anything great coming out of Auntie Bev, but we'll see. But then we got the long road. We got the long road to January. Uh, does it happen? I don't know. But this is the time that people get in trouble when there's a lull, right? When there's a lull, we should just basically go back and do our lives, right? Kind of, unplug for a while. Keep things hot, right? Keep things current, but
Yeah,
not engage because it's going to be too much. Too
yeah.
much time without any, without any content to think about. We don't need to create contact, right?
No shit.
Besides
No.
the duckies kill me. Will, I got to tell you the story behind the story with the duckies is absolutely crazy. It's funny. At the whole time that Yuri is doing searches for the duckies at the CF McCarthy's, right? Now, these were other suspects. The main guy is calling me on the phone. He said, "Hey, Sean, I got a crate of new duckies coming in. What should I do with them?" And he's doing this at the same time I'm dealing with the Yuri doing dusting for fingerprints and DNA with his rubber gloves on at CF McCarthy's. It was the craziest thing. The Ducky Gate. It's this is sad. You got a poor cop found dead, and they're investigating fucking duckies. Come on.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
you're right. It is sad, and it's also like this entire case. Just when you think it can't get any, I don't even have a word for it, any more like bizarre. you just then there's rubber
preposterous. It's
duckies and there's
preposterous.
and like a crime scene because there's rubber duckies out the front of Chicken Palm Charlie's charity pizza shop. Like,
Yeah.
what the
The
fuck is
charity
that?
pieces. The charity pieces. It is amazing. Yeah, it is. Oh
Yeah.
God. Well,
All right.
anyways.
Okay. Well,
This was great. I can't believe it's 2.5 hours. It's just, I can't believe this. It's
it's
amazing. But
so
thank you
good.
so much for having me on, Lily. I think you're doing a great job. Your content is awesome. Really is. Really
Oh,
awesome. And I
thank, thank
so
you.
happy to come on. Look at Scott McGinnis, man. He's great. Uh, everyone, the chat, man. It's really great.
Yeah. Thanks so
Really.
much. Thanks so much, Sean.
Uh,
It was so great to finally meet
yeah.
you.
Yeah, this is awesome. You're in Australia. I'm here in Naples, and we got the chat with us. It's beautiful. I got Audrey, one of my admins here with us. We got some great people. I mean, too many to mention. You know, Will. We got Peggy. Look at Peggy there. We got Buttercup. Anyways,
Yeah, we got
Lily,
so
thank
much.
you so much
And
for having me on. I know, listen, I know it was a drag for you. You had to get out of bed early, get all set up. Right
no
now
way.
it's Sunday your time. You know, God, it's amazing.
No way. Yeah, and I would have done it anytime because,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love you guys, and yeah, I love having the opportunity to connect and just chat, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Because it's
this is
been,
it.
yeah, it's so
This
good
is
to
it.
chat
Right.
uh, with you, with any of you, because you guys get it as much as I do. Yeah, it's like
Right.
I felt so, yeah, it's such,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. Stoked.
All
Yeah.
right.
All
Well,
right. Well,
I
thank you so
got to get
much.
these dogs fed and get them out before the next band of rain comes because they don't like the rain. They don't like hurricanes or thunder. So
No, so there's an actual hurricane coming?
no, but I'm saying when we do have hurricanes, the last one, Ian, was like it never stopped, but we worked it out. But they got shell shocked because of that. Now, anytime it rains, they get nervous. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Well, they need, I know, I know.
yeah,
Yeah, storms are scary for dogs. You got to be home
right.
with them and they need to be, cuddled up with you. Yeah. We'll go and do that and
All right,
have
thank you very
a
much,
Saturday
and
night.
thank you to the chat. Now that I found that I can do these little impromptu little Facebook things, I might be doing a lot more of that, guys. So, but I will be doing a clubber. Will's clubber is beautiful too, but I will be doing some more content coming out on my own channel. Okay, and maybe I'll have you come on. Look at that little baby, love
It's
him.
wow.
I'll have you come on. We'll do a mutual time that's good for you as far as time wise, and yeah. So thank you very much,
Yeah,
Lily.
thank you. Obviously, anytime. That would be amazing.
Okay, awesome.
All right, Sean, thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for everything. Sorry if I missed your chat. I'm new.
Yeah.
Bye,
Well,
everyone.
yep,
Thank
be
you.
good. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.